All right, we're live today. Reggie, you out there? Waiting on Reggie to come in. All right.
All right, there we go. I was looking in the email for the link.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead,
Man.
cook.
So what's been going on, man?
Man, shit up here. Just finishing his practice with the kid. Had him out there at the park. One of his old
Hell
coaches
yeah.
out there coaching him up.
Fantastic. Shit, I was
Yes.
just out here doing a little welding today. Some of these damn coats done busted up some of my pins. I had to fix them up. Um, anyways, man, I want to see if Chavezz goes live. This is gonna be a fucking roast session for his ass. Where the fuck is he at?
Go cook on him. He'll catch the playback if he don't jump in here.
All right, cool.
But what he do?
Look, motherfucking Chavezz wants to say some stupid ass shit. All right, I'm gonna tell you, Chavezz is indicative of what's wrong with our nation today. Right? We already know that men in denim built a fucking nation, and men in suits fucking ruined it. All right. This motherfucker come on there last night talking in the chat about let them immigrants have that oil field shit because whatever the fuck he said, I'm not down with fucking let them get dirty or some stupid shit. This stupid motherfucker ain't got a clue. All right. First of all, I make all this money and shit. Fucking no, he don't. That motherfucker, dude, he straight smell like fucking tortillas and paint, dude. You know it, and I know it. All right. This son of a bitch gonna come over there and say this stupid shit. Let me tell you something about the oil field. So I broke out on drilling rigs back in '96. I was in high school. I graduated high school early, except for the work program credits, right? And so I met a tool pusher. He let me lie about my age. I went out there with the work, right? I worked there for about a year and a half or maybe a little longer than that before I joined the army. All right. Um, then when I get out of the army, I'm riding bulls and I'm going to college. And then I get out of college and I'm like, shit, fuck yeah, a degree in philosophy. What am I gonna do? So I went back in the oil field. I was doing it. I was doing inspections, and then I ended up getting laid off in 08, 09, that time frame. You know what was going on then, and then but I went back to the drilling rigs because the Marcellus Shale with a natural gas play up there was kicking off hot and heavy, and they was building a bunch of. I went back into it. So anyhow, look, this guy's an idiot. So where else can somebody, not that I was a felon, all right, but somebody who's been in trouble with the law, who's got no education, right, other than maybe high school or even GED, right, go somewhere and make six figures a year starting off, all right. You can't go anywhere else. You're gonna make $25 an hour or more, plus a per diem, all right, which is anywhere from $45 to $100, depending on which drilling company you're working for. And then you're going to get a oil base pay if you're drilling oil base, which is anywhere from $30 to $80 a day. All now this is non-taxable, all right. And then you're going to get completions bonuses, all right. Depending on how fast it was completed, they have a whole schematic of where you need to be at what time, and then uh, and then some resource companies like Range Resources. All right, when I was drilling for them, every veteran got an extra $1,000 on their paycheck. Every paycheck, another $1,000. All right. So I mean, the shit's right there. And then if you're going to apply yourself and you're going to learn about the equipment and you go to all the classes, mandatory classes, all right, and you learn the arithmetic and the mathematics behind what you're doing down hole, and you pay attention, and you start to learn the formations. Uh,
The formations, you mean the underneath the ground, right? The oil.
Right. Yeah, the ground formations. The geology of the different places where you drill, that you could be like me. In 3 years, I went from a flunky on the rig, fucking lead tongs, whatever you want to call it, to a consultant position making $2,700 a day, plus a per diem. All right, plus a safety bonus, plus a fucking completions, all of that shit. You know. So where else can somebody with that type of history go right off the bat make six figures, and then move from that to making a whole lot higher six figures? So I don't know what the hell Chavezz does for a living, but that motherfucker can suck my ass. All right, he don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Okay, I don't know. Anyways, fucking, I imagine he got to stand somewhere. You know?
Yeah, he definitely got a taco stand somewhere. He always saying some stupid ass shit.
Yeah, or fucking, he's a painter. And let me tell you something about fucking them old Mexican painters. I ain't never seen a sober one. Never. You ever seen a sober Mexican painter? Nope, not me. All right. You know that motherfucker walking around looking like Slowpoke Rodriguez, that Speedy Gonzalez fucking cousin that fucking walk around real fucking slow. I remember I had one out here a while back. Fucking, this was several years ago. I had some guys go come paint on. I was replacing the eaves on my house, and I was gonna have them come paint it up for me. And this motherfucker get out the van, fucking, he drop his weed pipe. He got to stick it back in his fucking pocket. All this stupid shit, right? And he got his big gulp. Smells like straight fucking Modelo. You know what I mean? And this motherfucker like, hey, Buzz, what's going on? Not too much. What's happening? I just come to go to work. So, anyways, he's speaking broken English. So I figure I'm going to tell him in Spanish, right? So I tell him, well, yeah, míralo, señor, ven acá. I said, look, pintura, la casa, el ventanas y puertas allá. And he says, oh, I don't speak English, or I don't speak Spanish too good. I said, what the fuck? How's your Spanish worse than your fucking English? That's what goddamn Chavezz is. I'm telling you. He talk about he make all this money. You know he ain't a fucking editor. I seen how he fucking goddamn spells shit. He can't speak. If he speaks as bad as he spells, that motherfucker retarded. You know? Anyhow, fucking, I don't know. Maybe we could have a spelling contest sometime with him just to see what's up with this fucking stupid ass. Anyhow, I wish he was here to fucking trade shots. Anyhow, fucking moving forward, let's talk about tax. Now, we know the definition of tax, right? It is a contribution imposed. That's the legal definition of tax. Contribution, legal definition, contribution is gift. And the legal definition of imposed is to obtain through trickery and deceit. Okay. So, I want to talk about what we think are our bills every month, right? Has a phone company, like for your cell phone or for your internet or anything, or your power company, have they ever sent you a bill, Reggie?
Yeah. Go keep cooking because I'm on mute, so it takes me a while to come off mute. Go ahead.
Oh, that's all right. We'll stay off mute. Let's have this conversation since you're the only one on.
Yeah, no, because I'm typing, so I don't want the keyboard bringing up that noise.
I ain't worried about that.
Become annoying after a while. Go ahead, keep cooking.
Okay. You say they sent you a bill. Fucking, I've never gotten a bill from any company. Right on top, it says statement of account.
So you don't get gas or light bill?
Oh, I get it, but they've never sent me a bill. They sent me a statement of account. So we need to look up the legal definition of statement. We need to look up the definition of account and see what that is. That's what these motherfuckers' homework going to be. Look up the definition of statement. Look up the definition of account. All right.
All right, then I got some questions for you after that. Go ahead.
Okay. They're not sending you a bill because, so in order to obtain the services, right? This goes for mortgage statement too. They send you a statement of account on your car note. They don't send you a fucking bill. They send you a statement of account because it's already been paid for. How was it paid for? You sign something. You use your signature. All right. Your signature is what gives the credit, right? We know we're working in a debt-based economy. Everything is fucking debt, and debt is unsustainable. But debt is also what everything they're monetizing debt, and so just say on like a light bill, all right? Your electrical company, your power company, they take you've got to have your social security number, right? Or EIN in order to have that opened up. Now, what are they doing with that? They're taking your social security number and either electronically signing or signing with your name, and they're utilizing that to create the credit for which they're supplying the debt. All right? The debt ain't yours. What you are paying for, all right, is the taxes on the interest that's created on the debt note that you allowed them to use your credit to create. So maybe a mortgage is the easier thing to talk about because electric bills fluctuate, but that's
yeah, because they're based off usage. Yeah,
all it is moving fucking numbers around, right? Mortgage statement usually stays pretty constant until they fucking unlawfully change it up, and then you're not indebted to it anyways. The debt fucking goes away as soon as they change something on it, but or it should. You know, you just don't know it, right? And they just keep sending you a fucking statement. So say they're sending you a statement for $1,000 a month. All right. What they're doing is these statements are securities, all right, with a voucher on the bottom, right, or a coupon. Coupon vouchers, same thing. So what they get you to do is say, okay, you owe us $1,000. You know, you sign the promissory note, right? Let's go back. Okay, you have the deed of trust, you have the promissory note, you have the whole contract. When you sign the motherfucking promissory note, they're going to take that and they are going to make 3 copies, right? They're going to fucking cash it in at the discount window at the Federal Reserve, all right? And so what happens then is the Federal Reserve takes those funds, all right, or that amount of money, say $100,000, and they say, here you go, bank, all right? And then that bank is utilized as a pass-through to the former owner of the house. So the Federal Reserve gives it to the bank, and the bank sends them a check or puts it in an account for them or whatever. Did you obtain a loan? No, you fucking didn't. You didn't even apply for a fucking loan. A loan, it's only evidence of a loan if funds or money or credits that you applied for went to you. Okay? Now, I don't know who else on here who's bought a house or whatever. Whenever I've gone through the loan application and then I've signed a fucking promissory note, all right, and it's been sent off, and there's a deed of trust, and it's recorded down at the courthouse. I have never received those funds. I've never had a check. I've never gotten cash money, and no credits have ever been placed into an account that I was holder of, ever. Right? So there's no evidence of a fucking loan. All right.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. So you saying that a person can skip out on making payments on this shit?
I'm not saying that. I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna answer that here in just a minute.
All right.
So
what's up, Cuzzo?
So hey, what's happening, Deuce? What's going on, Sid? So since you haven't received any kind of, you haven't received a cash, you haven't received a check, there's been no credits of account placed into an account that you're holder of, right? It's simply gone to the bank as a pass through to the former owners, all right, or to the sellers, all right. And so when you're signing that deed of trust and you're signing that promissory note, you're signing on there as the grantor, right? What is a grantor? Well, a grantor is an executor. An executor is a creator, right? You're creating the trust, right? The trust indenture. Now, through fraud and obfuscation, somehow or another, they put you down, on the next page, you're somehow the borrower. Well, borrower of what? Because you didn't get the money there. You didn't get a loan. You didn't get any cash. You didn't get a check. You didn't get credits placed into an account that you were a holder of. So what's going on? Well, your signature on that promissory note sent over to the Federal Reserve discount window. They give the $100,000 for the house. That goes to the fucking bank, and then it goes to the sellers. All right. So the house is paid for. All right. But then they have the other copies of that promissory note and that deed of trust. All right. Now, this is prima facie evidence of a debt. And so it's a security. Well, that's reinsured. All right. It's bundled into bundles of 25, and then it's sold on the open market as mortgage-backed securities. All right. Who's the holder of those securities? Don't nobody fucking know. All right. Nobody knows where the fuck they're at. And so what they're doing is they're selling these off to investors. All right. And then they have to provide the interest to the investors by virtue of their investments, right? So when you're paying the note every month, you're paying the investors and the commercial tax that the mortgage company has to pay to the IRS to fucking do business. All right. Look at the name on the note, on the statement. Money says, it says, what's your middle name, Reg?
It started with D, Dwayne.
Okay. It says, Reginald D. Owens. In all capital letters. Now, is that how you spell your name? Fuck no, it ain't. All right. What that is that is a created transmitted utility. All right. And they are presuming that we're dumb enough, and for the most part we are. I was too for a long fucking time. Or asleep. All right. That transmitted utility that has been created, all right, that they also trade that on the fucking open market in order to fucking utilize it as a pass-through to bring wealth from the private into the public, because the public don't fucking do shit. All right, so.
And you got break when you mean public, you talking about the government side of shit.
I'm talking about any corporation. A corporation is a dead entity. All right. And even if it's a private corporation, if it's operating in the public, it's in the public. So corporations don't make shit. Only men and women. Men and women create shit. Corporations create fucking debt. That's why it's known as a debt or a dead entity. But so we've got our remedy, right? Public Law 78-10, by virtue of House Joint Resolution 192, 193, all right, that states, and this is codified in Title 8 of the USC, that the United States, meaning the United States Corporation, is liable or is obligated to pay all debts, public and private. All right. So you've got currency, right? This is a dollar bill. And on that dollar bill, it says legal tender for all debts, public and private. So the government, the United States Corporation, all right, is liable for all debts, public and private. But how do we make them liable as the principal creditor? Okay. Since we're sending all this money to these motherfuckers, so first of all, let me give the disclaimer. All right. What's good for me ain't always good for everybody. All right. And this is not legal or financial advice. All right. I'm just going to tell you what I do and what works for me. And I do it because I read it, and this is where it's written, and this is where it's been published. You can make your own determination as to how you want to do it, or if you want to do it at all, or if you just like to come fucking look at me because I'm so fucking good looking, or you like to listen to my fucking tirades. I don't know. So a payment or a payment to like a mortgage company or a payment for a bill on a statement of account is considered a Class 5 estate gift tax. All right. So we've been losing all of this money because we didn't know, because we're fucking stupid. We ain't been fucking reading. We've been asleep. All right. And we haven't been assessing the fucking tax against these fucking companies, using the IRS as our accountants and using the Treasury as our bank account. All this shit was fucking set up for us. All right. So if we assess the tax and we utilize the IRS forms provided to us, then read the instructions, read the fucking form. All right. It's going to tell you what to do and how to do it, but you better fucking understand these fucking goddamn, these legal definitions. All right. You need to read Publication 1212. All right. You need to read Title 26 of United States Code. That's the tax code. Publication 1212. All right. Those are fucking rules of procedures that the IRS puts out and updates from time to time. Let me get another one right here. This is a 1099 OID. I don't know if everybody can see that. Whatever. It's 1099 OID. That's where you're going to assess the taxes on these private organizations. All right. You got to know how they operate. All right. So all of the interest that has been available because of the credit that you provided to them is due to you. All right. Credit is meant to be, interest is meant to be released, not fucking paid. So, utilizing the OID, and you can go on this. You can look up the TIN of whatever company. All right, fucking Nevada Electrical Company or whatever it is who provides you with your electric service. All right, and you go there and it's got their TIN, it's got their account number. If they're a co-op or if they're traded on the open market, it'll have their ticker symbol. All that's right there. On a mortgage company, a lot of times they try to hide under fucking JP Morgan shit, but you can find them. It's a little more, but you can find them. And so what they're doing is over a 30-year period, all right, they're taking whatever payment they say that you owe, say $1,000 a month. They multiply that by 12 and a half, and then multiply that by 30. And what is that? That's dollar for dollar. And it states in Title 8 of the USC that the United States is responsible for all debts, public and private, for anything in excess of $1, dollar for dollar. So 30 years multiplied by $1,000 a month by 12 and a half. If you want to, you could multiply that by 10. I went through a whole list of mortgage companies the other day, and let me tell you, it's crazy. If you look at publication 1212, okay, it's going to have a set of tables, all right, and it's 159 fucking pages long, or 169 pages long, all right, and these are all the corporations that are creating that we are paying into, all right, that owe us interest. They all have to be registered with the IRS, and there's a table of all of them in publication 1212. So if we assess the taxes on them, utilizing the forms that the IRS gives us, say the 1099 OID, dollar for dollar, 12 and a half times 30, all right, you fill out the OID like it tells you to do. You follow the fucking instructions. You read if it says, unless it's something else, found over. Well, then we go over there and we read that because we want to have a full understanding of everything we're fixing to do. And then you fill that out. Now, along with a 1099 OID, you need a 1096. This is a 1096. All right. What does a 1096 do? A 1096 is what links all of your paperwork together. You'll do a 1040 along with it. A 1040 is where you're going to assess what was withheld. So tax withholdings are owed to you. They're not made by you. All right? You're also going to do a form 8888. All right? 8888 is going to tell them whether you want it in one account, two account, three accounts, if you're going to do, if it's going to be electronically sent to you, or if you're going to have it in a check, and what amounts to all of this. Now, I'll probably do like a private class or a special class or something to go over all of this 100%. But I'm going to tell you what is owed to me this year. $409,560. All right. And that's just by assessing the tax. I've talked about creditors, being a secured party credit, utilizing the UCC1 financing statement. But see, all of that is bullshit if you ain't going to act like a creditor. And what does a creditor do? A creditor is a surety. Okay. So he assures that something gets paid if the principal debtor doesn't pay it. Are they going to go to the United States and say, hey, I don't know about, No. All right. Because the debt of the government cannot be questioned. But let me tell you what we're doing. As creditors, we're assessing the taxes. We understand that $1 is $1 worth of debt. Every dollar that we accept, all right, that's been withheld, and now we accept it onto us. We're acting as creditors for the United States government, and we're taking that debt that's held in the motherfucking treasury, and we're accepting it. That lowers the national debt. The reason the national debt is 64 or $34 trillion, $36 trillion, whatever it is, because that's how much is sitting in the fucking treasury of debt. How many dollars? Debt fucking notes sitting in the fucking treasury. I'm going to take $409,560 off of them fucking this year. And I'm going to accept that debt onto myself.
You got to let us know when you get that shit.
I'll let you know. So I'll do like a private class on this shit at some time if people are interested or whatever. But you got to understand the difference between a creditor and debtor. I say this all the time: creditor and debtor, public and private, landlord and tenant. The three separation of powers: the judicial, the legislative, and the executive. Understand separation of powers. You got to know fucking definitions, and you need to understand how everything works together, and that we're operating on a debt-based currency. If you know that, that's a fucking hell of a start. Now you could get into particulars and start using your remedies that were set up every time they created some bullshit to keep your ass down. If they do something to fuck you, they got to do something to help you back up. Yeah, it's hidden in bureaucracy, but that's why old fucking Texas here fucking tell y'all where that shit's written down at. So you go look at it yourself. So everything is fucking biblical. An illegal butt seller. I didn't know there was a legal butt seller. Oh, well, not in Texas though. So let's go back to your question, Reggie. You was talking about, okay, so we can fuck off a payment or whatever. No, because you always want to stay in honor. All right. But you hold them fucking accountable too. If they're operating outside of the codes and regulations that they are bound by, all right, as they operate in the public, then fucking you hold their shit fucking accountable.
All right, so let me get this, because it seems like you're opposed to a lot of shit that goes on in the country.
No, so I ain't opposed to it. I understand there's a reason for it. All right.
Yeah, but let me say this. It seems like there's an opposition to a lot of shit. So we're bringing up bills. You're bringing up, let's say, utility bills, and you're saying that it's not a bill, it's an account. So does that mean? So does that mean you don't go about playing it? The statement of account also is an accounting sheet that shows what you're liable for your services for the agreement. Because before you go into a utility service, you sign agreements. That's what your signatures are for.
Sure. You signed that agreement. And that agreement has been fucking monetized and fucking sold to investors in a bundle of 25, fucking without your knowledge. Did you agree to that?
No, but you're still paying for the services. What's on the back end is they're handling the shit.
So, yeah, it's their handling, but are you owed all of the interest that's fucking been created by that fucking instrument?
No, see, I don't think you're on that aspect of it. I don't think the consumer gains any interest. Maybe that's something they can change. That can be legislated.
Let me ask you, when you signed that agreement, was there any full disclosure that they was going to be selling this as a security, and that by virtue of your signature on there, you're creating that security, so you're actually owed the interest.
Yeah, but I'm sure they go through when businesses are engaging in them transactions, they got to go through a government agency, right? The SEC. Is that true?
The SEC, yes, but the SEC, they're fucking goddamn just rolling, doing whatever the fuck they want. As long as the fucking SEC isn't brought down on them, then they keep doing what they want.
Yeah, but somebody regulates the SEC as well, or they should be watching what's going on within them. That should be Congress, right? And whatever committees over that.
Well, sure, but hasn't Congress exempted themselves from all insider trading fucking laws?
I don't know about all that stuff, but
you know it as well as I do. Hey, I just seen a deal for an app the other day that a guy created, fucking that based upon Nancy Pelosi's fucking stock trades. All right, so whenever she does something, it comes up on the app, and you can do it too. That's how you can make a fucking 118 fucking percent a rate of return on fucking stocks, when even fucking Warren Buffett and shit ain't never done no better than fucking 25.
Yeah, but see, this is the way I look at it. Even I hear that a lot with congressional members about stocks and stuff. Like, I don't think it's a law because you hear all of them playing the stock market. Now, there is violations if you get caught doing insider trading shit. That's the violation. Like, I don't think they're banned from putting money in the stocks. I think if they get caught doing the Martha Stewart within the stock market, that's where they can violate and be removed.
Exactly. So that's the issue. Fucking Martha Stewart was not exempt from insider trading laws, but members of Congress are. Just like they exempted themselves from any of the penalties from not having the Obamacare or not having insurance and shit. They exempted themselves from all of that. So if Congress is going to fucking, create something and then exempt themselves from any of the penalties from it, it's got to be fucking bad. I mean, I don't even have to read it to know, okay, well, these motherfuckers created it and then said, fucking, but any of the penalties, that doesn't apply to us, so fuck it. Then I know it's fucking bad for me, because they wouldn't exempt themselves if it wasn't bad for them.
Yeah, no, they stand on shit that's different. But that's why the American people however the American people have to voice this shit. But the American people can't always, it's approaches that you have to it to get things done. The approach can't always be a combative approach until it's necessary.
I'm not saying combative. What as a matter of fact, fucking, I think everybody should always stay humble. All right? Stay humble.
Absolutely.
And let them motherfuckers think you a dumb motherfucker until it's time to ask them why they acting as stupid as they fucking deem you to be. That's when you fucking goddamn you clown their ass and fucking you show a little arrogance, because you've read the shit. You know the fucking shit. Have they read the shit? Where's their fucking constant? I carry one around with me all the fucking time. I got one on my desk. Have they ever fucking read it? They took an oath to uphold and defend the shit. So did I. Except for fucking I know what's in it. So that's the issue. But so when I'm saying statement of account, we can agree that when a light bill comes to you, that's a legal document, right?
Yes, it's contract.
All right. So then all legal definitions apply to the verbiage used within, right? We have to assume it if it's a legal document, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Okay. So then if we start looking up the verbiage, if we start looking up the definitions of these words within that account statement, then we start to develop the knowledge as to what they're actually doing. Now, the motherfucker that puts it in the envelope and sends it to you, they're looking at it as we all are, as I did for a long fucking time. And I'm attributing a common definition to a word on a legal document. We can't fucking do that because that's how we're taken advantage of. All right? It's all through obfuscation. Now, when we start attributing the legal definitions to the verbiage within a legal document, all of a sudden we understand what they're doing. We understand what's going on. And so when we look at the voucher is a coupon, and coupons are redeemable dollar for dollar, the United States Treasury. Just like a coupon at the store, right? Whatever the grocery store is, fucking creates a coupon, and they put it out there, says, okay, $1 off. Are you think that they're not getting that dollar? That's commercial paper. All right? That's a debt instrument. That store is taking that at the end of the year or the end of the month or whenever, and at the end of the quarter, and dropping it off with their CPA. And the CPA knows what the fuck's going on. The CPA is taking all of that, and he's 1099 in the government and saying, okay, this corporation is owed this amount of money, utilizing their bank as a pass-through, fucking deposited in this account right here through the 8888. That's what's going on. 2 for 1 or fucking, buy 2, get 1 free. That doesn't make any sense. You can't profit that way. You can sell merchandise that way. You can rotate stock that way because more people are going to purchase that you need to get rid of in order to resupply. So you put a coupon out there. And then people get that coupon and then they buy it up. You could rotate stock. You could take that commercial paper at the end of the quarter and you could fucking send it to the use the IRS as a pass-through or send it directly to the Department of Treasury and fucking you get paid for the shit. How come we're not using the vouchers and the coupons the same way? How come?
And what are you going to use it on? How are you going to create your own coupon to use it on what? You'll create a coupon.
Your own.
Let me say this. You will create a coupon if you're delivering a product for a consumer to purchase.
Right.
So I think there's a difference with
what I'm saying is these coupons are already sent to you. At the bottom of your bills, there's something that you tear off, right? And then you put it into the envelope that they send you because it's easier for you because everything lines up, right? And it goes through the little plastic windows, and then you put a check in there. So what they're doing is they're cashing your check, and then they're utilizing your check as they're electronically cashing your check, right? So the amount goes into their account, right? And then they're using the check itself. Is that still commercial paper? That's still evidence of a debt. That's a debt note. And they're utilizing that through a 1099 at the end of the year to get paid on that. And then the coupon that you sent to them, which is also commercial paper, which is also fucking a voucher, they're using that to get paid on again. It's fucking 3 for 1. And goddamn, there's no interest owed to you. I'm telling you what they're doing because it's all allowed. That's how the system is set up in order to fucking build wealth for the corporations while we pay all their fucking tax and all the fucking interest to their investors. How come we're not getting paid? Aren't we owed that interest?
You'll be offered the discount is what you'll get. And sometimes the coupon and the way you look at the coupon is a way to drive a business. It's used for promotion. It's used to add cost benefit. It's a way for buying customer loyalty. You see coupons usually with consumable products. You may see it there. You may see it in the store. It's just to drive a promotion. That's why coupons are limited. Sometimes they pull away. It's to drive a business.
How about this? I'm going to look this up. I'm going to read it to y'all real quick. Because I'm not going to tell you nothing that you can't look up. So, real quick.
And what you reading? You got to let us know what you're reading. What it's about?
Black's Law Dictionary definition of coupon. According to Black's Law Dictionary, a coupon is a written contract that pays a specific amount of money to an investor or lender at a specific time. Coupons are often attached to financial instruments, all right, the rest of your fucking bill, your statement of account, your security, all right, like bonds or loan certificates, all right. What are coupons used to pay interest on debt-based capital? Coupons can be paid on a regular basis, such as weekly, monthly, or annually. Coupons can be based on fixed or floating interest rates. Coupons can be cut off and presented to the payer when interest is due. You're owed the motherfucking interest on that fucking debt note, on that security that's fucking being sent to you every month that you think fucking is charging you a fee. Cool, fucking pay it. But
yeah, the discount is for savings. That's what the coupon is. It's for discount or to redeem it for something.
Exactly.
That's what the common coupon is.
So what I'm telling you is the little detachable portion at the bottom of your statement that you've been sending in with your statement is a fucking coupon.
Yeah, let me see what Picasso wrote. I don't know what the hell Picasso wrote. He didn't write anything. He ain't making sense of shit. But go ahead, Cook. Like I tell people, these is text views. I got my own views on stuff. Go ahead.
All right. I just know that my views are based on fucking nothing other than what I have fucking read in their shit. Not fucking something I just made up out of the fucking clear blue sky. I have read it in their shit. I'm telling you where to go to read it in their shit. Now, what you do with it is up to you. I'm going to tell you what I do with it and how I approach it and what works for me. You're welcome to do whatever you want. All right? With the information. So, utilizing these coupons, right? I can't go into fucking my mortgage shit right now because I'm involved in a fucking lawsuit with the mortgage company. All right? When it's all said and done, after it's over and done with, I'm gonna put the record, all right, and the transcript up on one of these. All right, and then you'll see. All right, so I have discharged bills before, right, from toll road companies, $56 here, whatever. It may or may not work on a larger bill, all right? But what they're going to say is they're going to send you a letter if they deny it. They're not going to send you the coupon back, all right? And by virtue of of Uniform Commercial Code, Code of Federal Regulations, and United States Code, I can tell you where to go look at all this shit fucking yourself, all right? The debt is paid. If they don't return it, it's accepted, all right? They accept your fucking payment, your commercial paper, all right? So if they don't dishonor it and fucking send it to you and do it correctly, then it's been accepted. They're not gonna send you back that fucking coupon after you use it to fucking settle debt. They're just gonna send you something and try to get you to pay it, try to buffalo your ass, saying fucking, oh, well, some computer generated shit says, well, we just don't subscribe to your legal theories. Legal theories? I didn't send you 115 motherfucking pages of where you can look. What legal theory is it? 115 pages to include case law and everywhere within the USC, the CFR, the Uniform Commercial Code, all right? The Texas Commerce and Business Code. Fucking Operating Circular 10, Operating Circular 300 from the Federal Reserve, all right? Modern money mechanics. The affidavit of Walker Todd. And you're going to tell me that it's a legal theory? No, it's fucking not. I didn't make the shit up. All I did was read it, fucking print the shit out, and send it to you along with the fucking coupon. And you're gonna tell me fucking now that's somehow fraud against the lender?
Yeah, I mean, you can't make up your own shit for how the system is set up, though. Like there are laws that bound them for how far they can go with shit as well.
Exactly.
Let me say this. I don't think everything in the system is just meant to fuck you off. I think what happens with a lot of people who get fucked off in the system is because in this system we become consumers. I think we overconsume shit. We want shit that we shouldn't have, and therefore we set ourselves back. And then also based on like what you're bringing up with taxes. Too much shit is taxed at too high of a rate. There's too much into inflating prices, especially with trade and shit from other nations, and how the cost is offset on customers rather than limiting pricing. But the other thing is because of free market, they don't want government setting price. So that's the other thing that brings this outrageous levels of inflation behind the fact that you can't regulate pricing.
Hold on, I'm typing just a second.
All right, I'll keep cooking while you type. But yeah, that's one of the things where I think with how you have these things that conflict in this market to where we want everything as the market sets the price, the market sets the standard. But damn, at some point in the free market, do we set standards of regulation to where you can't pass shit over to customer when the company should be getting hit by the shit? And I think that's where this country is start to go way over the edge when it comes to what you can afford and can't, because once again, the battle with the corporate side of thing, and then over here in the public is the fact that the public side of things, where people talk about too big a government, I think sometimes the real issue in this country is that there's too big of private industry. And that's ultimately the issue. Some of this shit with private enterprising taking over things and growing to these massive scales that you have to hold some of this shit back. Go ahead.
So I'm sorry, I lost a train of thought fucking typing. I heard you talk about private industry and fucking regulation and fucking prices and shit. Oh, that's where it was. The first comment when you said not everything in the system is meant to fuck you off. You're right. Half the system is meant to fuck you off. The half that is your remedy, all right, for their fucking obfuscation, for their fucking out and out fraud. For, every time they do something to fuck you, they've got to allow a remedy. That's just how it works. All right. But those remedies are fucking hidden. And you got to go find them. We're not meant to be a nation of fucking debtors. We're the creditors. It's right there on the goddamn fucking greenback, backed by the faith and credit of the American people. Does it say backed by the faith and credit of fucking Funk Water fucking savings and loan? No. So if a bank can't lend its fucking credit, who fucking lent the credit to create the fucking money that bought you the shit and then you're paying it back? How can you pay back a fucking loan that never came to you based upon the credit that you provided to create the fucking funds in the first place?
Wait, I'm lost on when you say that. I'm lost on what you're saying with that.
Okay, our signature. Okay, well let's go to the money first of all. The dollar bill, legal tender, currency. It states on the front of it, one Federal Reserve note, backed by the full faith and credit of the American people. It says it on the fucking bill. And so, if it's backed by the full faith and credit of the American people, then the American people are the source of the credit, right? The Federal Reserve is the source of the debt. We understand that $1 bill represents $1 worth of debt, okay, because it's a debt-based currency. So, if it's our credit that's creating the ability, our credit is creating the currency. All right. The currency is then through our signature, by virtue of our signature. All right. We're allowing the credit to be put out into the fucking ether, or into the government, into the system, so to speak. All right. The Federal Reserve takes currency of a new issue, which is the Federal Reserve note, and then sends it to the bank. The bank is being used as a pass-through. The bank can't lend its own credit because the bank doesn't have fucking credit. Not for Federal Reserve notes. How can they have credit to lend Federal Reserve notes? It's not backed by Funk Water fucking savings and loan. It's backed by the full faith and credit of the American people. So then that money is sent through the bank. All right. That's it's what's called a fucking legal vehicle, or a financial vehicle. All right. Is a pass through to the seller. All right. Then that bank or that financial institution is going to send us a statement of account. We've lent them our credit. We've lent them our credit in order to take that $100,000 from the Federal Reserve. That money, that $100,000 then gets fucking put out into the economy. All right. The bank is utilizing our credit to create securities, to create more fucking debt. We've allowed them the use of our credit. That's what I'm saying. Fuck it. Hey, look, I've had that same motherfucking look on my face before when I started trying to learn this shit.
Because I'm trying to. No, some of this shit makes a lot of sense with the way it's structured. Like, you take a loan out, that leaves you in the debt. There's a security. That loan is meant for you to spend it, but also within that loan, there's interest that the banks will make off of you paying that back. Now, the banks can do trading with passing the security where it's brought, because now the other company is taking on the risk of making sure they collect this debt from you, because you have to pay it back. It's what it is.
It's already been paid. There is no debt. It's the full.
So you know me. No, I don't. That doesn't make sense at all to me. So if I borrow $100 from you, let me say this. I'm in need of a loan. I need to build a home. We can lower the price. I need to build a home, and I need $100 from you. I borrow $100 from you. You're not gonna lend that $100 straight up, because it takes me over a 20 payment cycle to be able to pay you back that loan. You ain't gonna want to get your. Let me say this: you ain't gonna want to get your $100 in return in a 20 payment cycle. You're gonna want to see a little bit of profit off the top of that. You may charge 5% on each payment in order to gather you. You know, you taking on the risk of lending this to somebody, whether I run off and don't pay it, leaving you in debt. Now, another company may buy that shit to try to go after me to get it. Like, so the system makes sense. But then that's where you go in the credit rating of how responsible this person is to lessen your risk based on how you score this person credit. These are the accounting practices, and they work.
It works because we're fucking dumb. I mean, but what I'm saying is it could work for us. We can utilize the same fucking shit, right? Is the power inherent in the people, like the Constitution says, like it says in the Declaration of Independence, or is it not inherent in the people, and it's inherent in the corporations? By the way,
so let me say this. So when you saying that with the people, so I can borrow $100 from you and say, fuck that, I'm never paying it back to you.
You can, but you've got to be cognizant of the potential fucking repercussions of that as well. But this is what I'm saying. So a man can contract with a man. The public and private cannot mix, right? A man can contract with a man. A corporation can contract with a corporation, but a man can't contract with a corporation. Why is the all capitalized name used? It's utilized as a transmitting utility, as an ens legis, right? A juristic personality a legal fiction in order to deem a corporation created so that you can do business with corporate entities. All right. If you had to do if you need some work done to your house and you came to me and you say, hey, Tex, I need to borrow $100. All right. Then I say, okay, here's $100. Pay me back within 6 months. All right. You take the $100, but now that is a loan. All right. You've requested the $100. I put the $100 in your hand. When you buy a car, does anybody put $100 in your hand? Does somebody give you a fucking check? Does somebody give you cash money? No. It's sent directly to the fucking to the automotive dealer. What? So what loan? I'm just legally defined. You have not taken out a loan.
But this would be the different how you use the car example. If the same thing, yeah, it's the same thing. Now, when you say they didn't give you money for the, let me say let me say this. You say that you don't get the $100 in your hands when you get the loan for the car. You get the car though. You give me the house. I don't have to continuously give you money in hand. I can send it into account. Versus if car dealers did it in a way of where you brought the cash payment every month, they can handle that way. But because transactions are like that, usually you take it to where it's a digital exchange. Like a lot of things in the system, like I know you got your viewpoints, but I'll view mine.
It's the legal definition of a loan. If all these things we're doing are legal documents, and I'm giving you the legal definition of what a loan is, fucking, how can I be wrong?
Yeah, but a loan don't mean you don't pay that motherfucker back.
I'm not saying not to pay it back. I'm not saying not to pay it. I'm saying you can utilize the same things that they do, because like I said, you got to remain in honor. They ain't remaining in honor, but just because they ain't remaining in honor don't mean that you got to be incognizant of what they're fucking doing. You know what they're doing. Okay, so then we're going to do the same thing, and we're going to utilize the same resources set up for us, not for them, but we're set up for us originally that we've been dumbed down or just fucking flat out not been fucking aware of in order to generate fucking wealth, which is, it's debt. But by virtue of that, by virtue of acting like creditors and taking the debt upon ourselves, which is a debt-based currency from the United States Treasury, we are going to lower the national debt. That's how it works.
So how are we going? And you saying each individual acts like a creditor? So that means
yes,
you're crediting the government. How?
You've already fucking given your credit to them. All right, fucking, if they're taking out fucking loans, all right, and it's going to the fucking treasury. If taxes are being paid to the government by these corporations, all right, and interest is being drawn on those on that commercial paper because of the Federal Reserve, which is creating the debt. They want you to take the debt off their hands. They want you to do this. That's why HJR 192, 193 exists. That's why fucking Public Law 78-10 exists. That's why fucking Title 8 of the USC exists. That's why Title 15, Title 16 of the USC exists. That's why Title 22 of Code of Federal Regulations exists. I'm just telling you, it's all fucking written down and it's all right there. All we got to do is read it.
My follow-up is, so now when do you draw your credit? When do you get your money that's in the account? That is the credit.
So that's not the credit. You're supplying them with the credit. They're supplying you with the debt. It's a debt-based currency, right? So it's backed. The debt is backed by the full faith and credit of the American people. We got to understand, it's a fucking mirror image of fucking what is real, right? First, we know that it's a debt-based fucking currency. We know that the fucking dollar has zero value. And it's backed by nothing other than the full faith and credit of the American people. We are the suppliers of credit. Credit comes from us. But in order to get legal tender, something that is commonly used to exchange for goods and services, we're going to accept that debt. We're accepting the debt, acting like a creditor. Because what does a creditor do? A creditor pays a fucking bill, right? It's the surety. But you also have to understand who the fucking principal debtor is. Being that the United States corporation is responsible for all debts, public and private. The location of the debtor, UCC 9, UCC 9, oh, that's summary judgment. 1 second. Hold on. Let me grab this shit.
Let me jump on the panel because I see.
Here, I got it right here. All right. Title 9, UCC.
Wait, let me say this to Picasso. Don't be acting scared, Picasso, when the link is out there. Jump on the panel and make what you wrote make sense.
I'll put it on there again. All right. Title 9, UCC, or UCC 9-307. H. Location of the debtor. The United States is in Washington, D.C. That's what it fucking says. We understand from Title 8 of the USC that the United States corporation is responsible for all debts, public and private. That's the same thing that is stated within Public Law 78-10. See, there's a United States Code that has an enactment clause. So now it is actually public law. This is law. Somebody wants to know law? I'm teaching you fucking law. HJR 192-193 was created because fucking of the insolvency in 1933 of the United States Corporation. When they took all the fucking gold from everybody. I'm telling you where it is. So we got to start using our remedies and quit being fucking prisoners of our own fucking mind. That's the worst fucking cage you could be in. We're shackled with a fucking slave mentality. All of us, everybody. And we think that we're responsible for all of this fucking, all of this debt, all this shit that's been fucking placed on our shoulders. But we're not looking at debt the way we should be looking at it. And we're not looking at ourselves as creditors because we don't know who the fuck we are. We know something's wrong. We know that this can't be all there is. We know it's got to be better than this. It can't be this fucking bad. It's not. But there's a path you got to go down. And you got to start fucking looking at this shit. Like I'm telling y'all, this is how you should look at it. You got to know who you are. You got to stand on your fucking square. And if you're going to be a fucking secured party creditor, let's fucking start acting like it. We're secured by all of the things that the fucking straw man, the fucking all capitalized fucking first name, middle initial, last name fucking owns. But that transmitting utility is a fucking dead entity. And that motherfucker dumb as shit. He can't fucking do anything. He can't even fucking contract without an authorized representative. Look at your fucking checkbook. You see the line for your signature? If you put a magnifying glass on that shit, that line is not just a line. It is very small words that says authorized representative.
Let me say this about Picasso because he acting scary. Now he writes that when I tell him don't be scared to click the link to jump on the panel, the link is out there. He makes one of the dumbest comebacks to make an excuse why he can't get on. He writes that he's driving. Now you've been writing long ass paragraphs in your responses. the safest option,
link in there.
Yeah, so the safest option will be to hit the link so you can speak and look at the road versus looking down. So if you're scared, just say you're scared. It's Sunday. You can go to church. I tell you, people make up some of the worst excuses, man.
So SS. What's SS?
That's that dude from that Reading Rainbow video I play, and the guy reads screenshot, and he asks, "What does SS mean?" So he be repeating that shit.
Oh. So, anyways, we are the creator of all credit. You got to understand that. You got to understand that you're simply a king without a kingdom. All right? That you are sovereign. That you are only ruled by your own consent. And without your consent, fucking nothing fucking applies. I don't know what else to say. I'm trying to come up with something else, but I mean, people got to know who they are. And once you know who you are, I assure you, fucking, when I first started learning this shit,
I think with like even what you said with knowing who you are, it's learning how to strategize, be disciplined within this shit. You read, you understand, you know how to maneuver through the system. The problem with people is the fact that they don't read. A lot of people aren't disciplined. Their wants outweigh their needs by a large imbalance, large ass imbalance, and they put themselves in these holes of debt. I'm guilty of it as well, but I'm more mindful as that shit as time moves along.
Yeah, and I have been too, you know, but I wasn't thinking. Fucking, I was dumber as shit, and fucking this shit that I'm telling y'all is the same shit I try to impress upon my son. Look, I'm never gonna give your ass fucking everything you want. I ain't gonna do it. Fucking, I'm gonna give you very little of what you want, but I'm gonna teach you everything I didn't fucking know. Now, fucking, when you're fucking 19 years old and you know all the shit that I didn't know until I'm fucking 44, 45 years old, fucking run with that shit. But that little motherfucker want to go fucking chase pussy, do all this fucking bullshit, you know?
And that's always the hard part when the hormones hit a young man.
Man, let me tell you fucking what I done with this little motherfucker, man. He calls me up. He's leaving the ranch down in Pearsall. He said, "Hey, what's going on, Dad?" I said, "Oh, not too much. Just riding some coats and stuff with you. I'm leaving the ranch." I said, "Oh, okay, you go hunting?" He said, "Yeah, I was down there doing some thing." I said, "You heading back to the house?" He said, "Well, I am, but first I got to go to San Marcos." I said, "Go to San Marcos? That's out of the way of the house. You got to go past the house to do that." He says, "Yeah." He says, "I got to go break up with my girlfriend." So I'm interested in what's going on in his life. I said, "Well, why are you going to break up with your girlfriend?" He tells me all these horror stories about how they go out. He's real tall, you know, and so sometimes they just don't ask him for no identification. Little motherfucker probably packing around fucking one of my old ones or something, you know. There ain't no telling what he's doing. All right. Fucking and so he could buy. He tells me, he says, "Fuck, I bought a few bottles. I was showing off in the fucking club and shit." And fucking, you know, she passes out in a pool of her own puke and fucking piss. And come to find, you know, we start dating. I said, "You dating her after that?" He said, "Yeah, you know." And then she's on all this prescription medication, all this shit. I said, "Come by my house and pick me up. I'm going with you. You can break up with her." He says, "What?" I said, "Do it. Make it happen." He says, "All right." So he comes to the house. He picks me up. We head out to San Marcos. She's going to school at Texas State University, right? We're about halfway up the stairs going to the dorm, and I'm looking through Spotify, right? And I find Can't Be Touched. And so I start playing that shit. Fucking, he's getting amped up. Yeah, all right, I can do this. I can do. And we get up there, and I'm rubbing the back of his shoulders. He's kind of bouncing around on his feet like a boxer. He said, "Yeah, I got this." I said, "Okay, I'm going to wait out here, go do it." He bangs on the door opens up. He goes in. I'm flat up against the wall. I wait there for him 15, 20 minutes. He comes out and fucking we just walk off. I'm just walking with him, right? I'm looking at him. Expect him to say, he don't say shit. We get in the truck. I said, "So did you break up with her?" He says, "No," you know, he's looking all ashamed of himself. I said, "Okay, not another word spoken till we get." He drops me off at the house. He goes back to his house. It was probably a month later. We over at my mother's house for Christmas, or for Thanksgiving rather. And I gotta leave to go feed horses. It's already late, and but I want to talk to my son a little bit outside of other people's ears and shit. So we go on the back porch, and I said, so really, what happened with your girlfriend? You break up with her? He goes, no. I said, you stupid dumb motherfucker, you're bad as me. I knew you was in there fucking. I knew you was in there fucking. And that's what he was doing. Hey, look.
She threw it on him.
Hell yeah, she fucking wilding out, passing out in her own piss, fucking getting drunk as fuck up in the club, probably dancing on a speaker, fucking goddamn without any clothes on. You know, fucking she's on prescription medication. I've dated those before. Have you? Okay. Why did we stay with them as long as we did? Okay, right? And so fucking, I said, fucking, you don't have to do something. I said, you done fucking see that crazy fucking bitch that fucking said that I fucking beat her up and shoved her in the fucking oven and all this crazy shit. I said, that's the same motherfucker this one is. Fucking don't learn from your own mistakes. Learn from mine. Fucking take care of that shit. And so Christmas comes around and he says, fucking, I was able to do it. I was able to do it. I said, how'd you do it? He said, this motherfucker says, well, she left for 3 weeks with her family on Christmas vacation. Since I hadn't seen her in all that time, it was a whole lot easier for me to tell her to fuck off. You're going through San Marcos in a few minutes. Where you at? You in Austin? Or you in San Antonio? New Braunfels?
Well, he probably carrying the low. I think he be doing that truck driving shit.
Oh, he's a truck driver? Shit, looking.
Yeah.
So we got somebody in a fucking in an 18-wheeler, a Peterbilt or a fucking Mack truck or something, fucking with a load behind them, fucking writing all the long ass fucking paragraphs and shit.
Right.
Man, don't let me read about your ass, Picasso, with a fucking newspaper. The goddamn funny paper is fucking sheriff's report and shit. Anyways, anyhow, fucking, I got off on that fucking sidetrack with my kid and whatnot, but oh, you're in Hillsboro. You ain't going through fucking San Marcos in a few minutes. If you're in Hillsboro, fucking, you're all the way. You're just south of fucking Dallas. You still gotta go through Waco, Austin. Anyways.
Well, so where he going? North or something?
He's going south.
Oh, Waco. Wait, where's Dallas is above Killeen and all that shit, right?
Yeah, Dallas is up north of there. Fuck, you got Dallas and Fort Worth. 35 fucking splits off into east and west. Fucking the one on the east goes to Dallas, west goes to Fort Worth. Then just right at that, you've got Burleson and Hillsboro right there, and then you jump off of 35 east west and you get on to 35 south, and that's when you go through Waco and then down there through Belton and all that shit where we was at.
Okay. I was trying to figure out how they were set up and shit. What's up, Carmen Serene?
Karma, I ain't seen her on here yet. Fantastic. Hey, welcome to the show. Anyhow, fucking, so we all got to know who we are, and you're right. It has to do with people not wanting to read. It's inconvenient. But look, this is the way I look at it. The first thing is having an understanding of fucking who you are. Are you a fucking debtor? Are you a fucking tenant? Are you a fucking slave? Or are you going to be a creditor? Are you going to be sovereign? All right. Are you going to be a fucking landlord? Because fucking legally speaking, these are the definitions that separate the fucking rich from the poor. Legal definitions separate rich from poor.
Absolutely.
Right? By virtue of that, fucking your mindset has to be either one or the other. Legally speaking, which one are you going to be? Are you going to be the slave? You're going to be the master, right? You're going to be the servant. You're going to be the fucking sovereign, right? Once you understand, okay, I'm going to be the sovereign. I'm going to be the free man. I'm not going to be the fucking servant. Okay. Start reading your legal definitions. And I guarantee goddamn to you, everybody that looks at these shows, on top of fucking what they're looking at between our commentary between you and I and everybody else, they have at least 30 minutes that they fuck off every day playing Candy Crush, arguing with strangers on the fucking internet and Facebook, goddamn fucking looking at some stupid ass fucking TV show, the old dykes of fucking LA County or whatever the fuck they looking at on fucking TV on some daily dose of stupid reality show. All right. In that 30 minutes, Tex done told you where to go to look at the fucking definitions. Tex done told you where to go to open up this fucking goddamn to see what it says in these fucking government publications. Tex done told you where it's at. Are you looking at them? Are you looking at them? Or are you fucking off with the damn fucking playing Tetris on the fucking Game Boy or something? All right? Are you on the fucking are you on the Facebook fucking arguing with somebody over some fucking stupid bullshit? Are you looking up goddamn pictures of cats? Okay? I think it's important to fucking know how to interact with the public as a sovereign and what my roles and responsibilities are as a creditor and what I need to do to ensure that I continue down the path of being a free man. Now, if you got an extra 30 minutes a day to fucking do stupid shit, all right, then you got an extra 30 minutes a day to fucking look at what I'm telling you to look at. I'm telling you where to go to read the shit. And read it for yourself. And know that it's a fact. And once you start seeing that shit and you start flipping through it, fucking, you're going to flip through it and you're probably going to learn some shit I don't fucking know. Because you all of a sudden you get interested in fucking, oh shit, fucking Texas. What else they got fucking in this shit? And you start fucking scrolling through that instead of scrolling through goddamn feeds of fucking Facebook status updates. Who gives a fuck what's going on at the goddamn club? I don't. Shit, it's a 45-minute drive to get to fucking the grocery store from here. Fucking, what the fuck I give a shit if fucking somebody's in the club? I don't care. But you start looking through that shit and fucking you start finding your remedies and you start reading it and saying, God dang, fucking that shit just don't make sense. Fucking, what does this word mean? Oh, I'm going to look that up real quick. Black's Law Dictionary. Holy fucking shit. A human fucking legally fucking defined as a bastardization of a man is a monster and not and cannot be a holder of properties. As you start reading this shit, you start learning Greek, you start learning Latin. All you're doing is improving yourself. And all these fucking attorneys and fucking bullshit, I'm telling you, it's just like the fucking Matrix. It is just like that picture show, The Matrix. Fucking when Morpheus said, when old Neo says, Keanu Reeves says, fuck you telling me I can dodge bullets? No, I'm telling you when you're done, you won't have to. You don't have to. Because you're arming yourself with the fucking knowledge. Or you're girding yourself with the armor of knowledge. That's what I did first. Now, if they still try to penetrate your fucking armor when you've told them everything, that's when you fucking start using it as a goddamn fucking, as ammunition, as a weapon. And you weaponize that shit and you bust their motherfucking ass. And next thing you know, you're in their goddamn 801k offshore fucking goddamn retirement account, otherwise known as the judge's slush fund, that they think you don't know fucking nothing about. Anyhow.
No, what else you got?
I don't know. What do you got, Reggie? What you got? You want to ask me any questions?
I don't got. Hey, that's why I want to go into this more of like with the because what was the dude? I was wishing you was on because I went on so damn late over the oil shit. when it comes down to what's his name, Asian Math had put out some shit because he speaks about, because a lot of people think that the Saudis are the leaders in oil production. A lot of people don't think America produced shit. So when it comes down, he was making a statement about Saudi Arabia having a higher or more superior oil. I'm like, what kind of shit does that make? All the oil is probably the same underground, right? Or if you can explain that, or whether he was right or not.
I can explain that. So there's heavy crude and there's sweet crude, and like
you got to break each one of them down for us.
All right, so sweet crude is typically found. There's little or no H2S, which is very poisonous gas that's within that reserve or in that formation, in that geological formation from which the oil is produced. Typically, something from a sweet field or sweet crude is going to be a more pure pure resource of oil, right? It doesn't have to be refined as much in order to turn it into the various petroleum products, which are then sold. Okay. There's also something called condensate. Condensate, fucking, when you pull it straight out of the ground, it's almost clear. It's just got a fucking slight blue tint to it, right? You can put that in your car and it'll run off of it right then. It's like fucking jet fuel, right? So there's condensate, there's sweet crude, there's heavy crude. Heavy crude, like North Dakota, that is the most unrefined reserve of oil that there is in America that I'm aware of. When prices were so low, in order to fucking move the crude oil that had been collected from the North Dakota fields in the Bakken Shale, they had to pay people 50 cents a barrel to take it off, to get it out of their fucking collection facilities, simply because it has to be refined so much. So, I've never worked in Saudi Arabia. I've never worked over in the Middle East. So, as far as the production of their oil, it may be a sweeter crude, or it might be a sweet crude. It takes less energy, human and otherwise, in order to refine it. But it's all that shit with getting shit from fucking Saudi Arabia. It boils down to fucking money and government money, and fucking, since it's co-owned by the United States as a nationalized fucking company, then fucking that's why fucking the government is purchasing more oil from there than it is here, because everything here is a private corporation. That's why they're trying so hard to nationalize this shit. That's why they create the happenstance to where the smaller companies get swallowed up by the bigger companies, so that the super majors, the three super majors, ConocoPhillips, Exxon, and or ExxonMobil and Shell, ConocoPhillips. There's four: ConocoPhillips, ExxonMobil, Shell, and Chevron.
Oh yeah.
They want them to swallow up all the smaller companies, and then at some point, fucking the larger companies start swallowing up each other. And when it gets to that point, then you can fucking start nationalizing this shit, because, well, we can't have a fucking monopoly unless, of course, we've got the monopoly on fucking that said thing. So we're gonna pass legislation and let these alphabet soup agencies fucking make their own fucking regulations that these idiots on the board of trustees are in bed with the motherfucking politicians, so they allow the private corporation to get nationalized so somebody's fucking pockets get greased. And fucking, we're none the wiser. We just think, oh, fucking, it's business as usual. Or we're walking around fucking with our headphones in. Or goddamn fucking playing Candy Crush Saga. And we don't fucking know no better. So, in other words, yes, there is different levels of purity when it comes to oil. And I hate to use I hate the word fossil fuels. That says something like it's not a fucking renewable resource. Bullshit. Oil is a fucking renewable resource. It may take fucking long time to renew, but it is not a fucking finite thing.
Because and then how on average, how deep are y'all going underground to get that shit out? And then what's the process? How so I'm like, I see them, I watch some of the shows, I still don't get it. The shit is amazing me, but how far on average y'all go down? And then once you, because I know you drilling pipe down there or some shit, right?
Right.
Are you, and then to draw it up through these pipes, are you pushing pressure down there? And then how is that done? Like that's the thing that intrigues me. And then if you talk about fracking after that.
Right. Well, it's very, very interesting. And it's most amazing to me because the majority of this technology was developed in some fucking hillbilly's fucking backyard. Because those were the guys that worked in the oil field. And fucking who you might think is a fucking dumbass because fucking he talks slow or whatever, fucking, you know, wears coveralls every day. This is the motherfucker that created these fucking systems and built this fucking technology. So it depends on which geological formation you're drilling into. So like right here where I'm at, there's three oil producing formations on top of each other that we're aware of. Okay. And there's other ones in between them, but they're smaller producing formations. So let's go with the major ones. You got the Austin Chalk Formation. Those were all conventional wells, vertical wells, very shallow. Okay. They didn't produce for very long.
And when you say shallow, how far down is that?
Those wells was anywhere from like 2,000 and 3,000 feet, maybe not even that low in the Austin Chalk Formation. So then up and then there's multiple underneath it. There's the Bone Spring, there's the whatever fucking. But then the next major one is the Eagleford Shale, and fucking, a lot of people know about that because that was the big one back in, say 2011, 2012, when price of oil a barrel was up to $120 plus per barrel. That's the Eagleford Shale Formation. All right.
And how far down? How far down? Because we were speaking to people, we don't really know this shit.
Right. So the kickoff point for the lateral on that one was anywhere between, say, 8,500 and 10,000 foot.
Feet down?
Straight down.
God damn.
Okay. And then we kick off into a lateral, and then we might drill a fucking well that's, 18,000 foot or 20,000 foot sideways, right? Throughout that shale formation.
And then but let me ask, how, and when you speak about the shales, how big are they in reference of size and shit?
So I don't know the exact size of the Eagleford Shale. I know, give or take, about where it runs from to where it runs to, but it covers somewhere around 120,000 acres, or maybe it's more than that, 300,000 acres or something. It's got to be more than 300,000 acres. I don't know. It's a huge area though. It runs all the way up from north of Lockhart up around Luling, all the way down into South Texas toward Los Angeles and Millet, and all the way down there.
You mean Los Angeles and Texas?
Yeah. Los Angeles and Texas is okay. There ain't but one fucking one commercial type entity in Los Angeles, and that would be Ruby's Lounge, okay, which is a beer joint. And if you go in there, you could get a bumper sticker, and it says Ruby's Lounge, Ruby's Lounge, Los Angeles, Texas, home of coyotes, cowboys, rattlesnakes, and Mexicans. That's what it says on the bumper sticker. So, anyways, so that's the only thing in Los Angeles, Texas. Everything else is farmland, ranch land, pump jacks, and fucking oil field derricks, you know. So, anyways, but then up underneath that one is what they call the Pearsall Shale, and it's even larger than the Eagleford Shale, and so but it's deeper, and so you know these deeper plays. Not that the more shallow plays no longer have oil in them, because they do, but the deeper you go, the higher the production yield tends to be, and so the deeper shale geological formations, you got to have the technology in order to get there first, because you know you got to place an immense amount of weight to be able to drill that far down. And yeah, Ruby's Lounge is deep in the woods, no doubt.
And then, but as you finish, I still got a lot of questions. I got a lot of questions on this shit. But go ahead.
So you know, so we drill down into what is called the kickoff point, or we drill the shoe, we drill the curve, all right, and then we drill the lateral, which is sideways inside this shale formation. Casing is set. You've got three different times you're going to set formation or set casing. It's going to be surface casing, which surface typically goes through the lowest water reservoir. Okay, and then you set your casing there.
What's a casing? What's a casing?
It's a big piece of pipe, and so you've got your drill pipe, and then your bit is much larger on the bottom, right? In order to make the room for the casing. And so then you'll cement that in, and then we'll come out the hole, then we'll go back in with a drill pipe and a smaller bit, and we'll drill out what they call intermediate. All right. And that'll go to the beginning of the shale formation, where we're going to kick off and start going sideways into the shale formation, drill the curve. And then we'll come back out and we'll set casing in that. And then we'll drill into the curve, and then we'll kick off utilizing a rotary steerable, what they call it, or a mud motor or whatever, in order to drill sideways. And so then it's usually about the same distance sideways as we drilled down. And so, and then we'll set what they call bottom hole casing, or long string, or bottom hole casing. Fucking long string. There's a lot of different there's different terminology for it. But after that's set, that's cemented in, and then we're gonna come out the hole and shut everything in on the wellhead or whatever, right? And then they're gonna come back with a lot. Maybe they'll use a pulling unit or a workover rig, or they'll use coil tubing, right? And they're going to go down with it, and we're going to frack. So they'll go through it, and then they'll drill out the plug that's holding everything down, and then drill through the cement plug. Shut their valves, come on out, hook up to the pump trucks for the frack, and then they're going to blast down there, right? Or I'm sorry, the first thing is, before that, they're going to send a bomb down there, what they call the guns, and they send it all the way with a tractor all the way to the bottom of this lateral, and then they set off the guns. All right, the guns.
What you mean the tractor?
Okay, so a tractor is just It's kind of like I don't know what, kind of like a moon rover, I guess. That
Okay.
once it's lowered all the way to the bottom of the curve, now they're controlling it electronically. All right, and it's carrying the guns with it, right? And it drives down there to the end of that lateral. And then they set the guns off, right? It's fucking TNT, fucking and ball bearings, right? And so it blasts through the casing and through the cement. Um, they pulled a tractor out and they shut the valves and everything. You know, there's a lot of valves and a lot of things that keep it from just blowing up out of the ground. Also, the hole is loaded with kill weight mud. So fucking, you know, they've done the mathematics on it. This is the weight that the mud needs to be at this volume in order to maintain a static well, right? So it's heavy enough to keep all the pressure down, but not so heavy that it's going to force everything back into the formation. And so you've got kill weight mud sitting on top of your oil that has bottom hole pressure or fucking geological formation pressure, just pressure from the earth itself is trying to force it up, and they're both, you know, on top of each other. And then you've got your mechanical valves up top. They come up with that. They hook up to all the pump trucks, or all the pump trucks hook up to a missile truck. Missile truck hooks up to the wellhead, and then they start fracking it. And what they're doing is they're pumping like wet sand down into the lateral, which is looking for the easiest point to get through. So it's going to go through them holes, and it's going to go into the formation, and it's going to fracture it. It's going to break that formation apart so that the oil could more easily flow out of that formation and into that well or into that lateral and then up through there. And so after that, they're going to do what they call a flowback. And so that flowback is going to start separating. They've got a vessel out there that's going to separate sand, any kind of frac sand that's left down there in the well. It's going to separate sand, water, and petroleum. Petroleum will be on top, right? And it's like it's a vessel that's like the sump over there in the motor pool, right? It's got stairs, so all the sand is going to be at the bottom, the water is going to be in the middle, and then the petroleum or the oil or whatever condensate is going to be at the top.
Oh, because oil is lighter or something. It's lighter because it's lighter. It just separates itself.
No, because it's lighter, so that's why it does separate itself. But because it's lighter, it's going to be on top. So they'll flow back through that vessel for a time period, whatever they deem is necessary, and then they'll hook up to a hairpin and a short pipeline that goes from the well to the facility, and start collecting right there off of the pressure from the ground. Now, there's going to be, now they have these digital readers on top of each one of these wells, but it used to be an analog reader, and then also one over at the collection facility, or what they call the tank batteries. And it's going to tell you how much water is being produced and flowing into there, and how much oil is being produced, whatever. So when it gets to a point where geologically it's not just from the pressure of the ground itself, stops pushing it up as much as they want, then they'll go back through there with a workover rig, and they're going to install a polishing rod in the vertical section of this well, right? And it's a swab with a polishing rod. It's like a really big syringe is what it is, and it comes out. That's where you see the horse head pump jacks and everything. It connects to the horse head. Those pump jacks are usually put on like a solar powered station or something these days.
Wait, one question. The horse head are those little things, that keep doing this? Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's the pump jack, right? The horse head is the big thing at the front of it. Looks like a horse head, like, you know, you're drinking water or whatever. Anyways, that polishing rod connects the horse head to the pump jack, and they're put on like a solar station or a solar battery junction or whatever to run it, and then they set it for however fast they want it to go, and it starts pumping up and down. And what it's doing is it's swabbing that oil up just like a syringe, you know, bringing it up, and then it's that water is unloading, or that I'm sorry, that oil is unloading straight into the pipeline or through the hairpin, and then into the pipeline and going to the tank battery or the storage facility. And then, you know, so every time it's stroking, it's pulling that oil up. And anyways, it's a really neat process, you know. I mean, when I first started on the rigs, I didn't know anything, and really didn't know anything, even though I worked there for about a year and a half. When I went back to work on the rigs in 2009 or so, I started to pay attention and really really start to learn things and try to better myself, because I knew that man over there that stayed there and he was clean all the motherfucking time made a whole hell of a lot of fucking money. And I wanted to be clean and make a whole lot of fucking money. So I had to fucking have the knowledge in order to get in his chair. So that's what I did. Anyways, but yeah, the oil field is very, very interesting, and there's so much arithmetic and mathematics that goes along with it. And like I say, the majority of the technology that's used was not developed in a fucking lab somewhere or by engineers. It was developed by people that have worked on the fucking shit, and you know, they discovered a fucking better way to do it, or an easier way to do it, and they developed these fucking technologies in their fucking garage or out in the fucking back pasture behind the barn or something like that.
And then another question to follow with that, like, so like you said, there's these pockets on the earth. So how do you avoid like, so I'm thinking it's like these massive holes underground with all the oil and stuff sitting down there. So when you pulling that and it takes pressure off what's holding the earth up, do you deal with collapse? How much is the threat of a collapse when all that stuff is being pulled out? Being it's a hole, or do y'all fill that hole to make up for the loss in the oil that was once there?
So when a well is abandoned, right? So it quits producing. What they do is they perform a P&A job, which is a plug and abandon job. And basically what they do is a drilling rig goes over there and it sets up, and then they do a cement job, a massive cement job, that the cement goes in, and this is what they're supposed to do. I'm not saying that all fucking companies do the right shit. I'm not saying that all of their representatives know exactly what they're doing, because things do fucking slide through the cracks. Fucking no doubt about it. But those plug and abandon jobs, that fucking cement slurry is sent through all the fucking down the pipe and out those same holes that the ball bearings shot out and into the formation itself, until you start obtaining returns back through your annulus and then back out. Basically, the wellhead, it starts to come back out the wellhead, and once you've got those returns and you start taking those returns, you know that you have filled up that pocket with cement, and so you sit there and you shut your valves and fucking you make sure you wait on the correct time prescribed by the cement company for the cement to harden 100%. Then you can strip your wellhead off, fucking weld a plate on top of it or a pipe on top of it, which is inscribed with the date it was plugged and abandoned, and then you go on. You move off of it. So those wells that are no longer producing should be plugged and abandoned. All plugged and abandoned wells, you know, there's a big push right now, and there's a lot of fucking small startup companies that are going through and they're re-drilling out these plugged and abandoned wells, because, like I said, oil is a renewable fucking resource. And so after so many years of being plugged and abandoned, they're going back, they're reworking these wells, and they're opening them back up, and they start producing again. And then when they cease to produce, or you know, when it ceases production, maybe not entirely, but you know, it's less than what's financially efficient to maintain equipment on that well, then they'll plug and abandon it again. And then they'll come and revisit it in another 15, 20, 30 years.
Oh, because would it refill with more of what creates oil? Because how is oil created?
Oil is created from decaying carbon-based matter. So
it's like a 1,000,000-year process or some shit.
It ain't even that long. Like, so I don't know if you've ever seen it or not. You know, like a dog gets run over in the road, and it stays on the side of the road and it's rotting, or whatever. If you go look at it after rigor mortis sets in, it fucking bloat sets in, and then it fucking starts to collapse. If you go kick that sumbitch over, there's gonna be a fucking pool of black right there.
Right.
That's fucking heavy crude. You can light that on fire and it'll go up.
So can they artificially create this shit now?
Well, there's all types of oil fucking have flash points and they can burn, right? So before oil was discovered, you know, what they call what was the name of that tribe up in Pennsylvania? They talked about the fucking black tears in the river in Pennsylvania, and that's where they first discovered it. Oil out of the ground, you know, because you know you could get this black stuff, this black liquid out of the river, and you could put it on your fire, and it would accelerate your fire, you know, or whatever. And so they said the Iroquois Indians, they said that the river wet black tears. So that's where they first found oil and started using that. Before that, it was oil from whale blubber. You know, whaling was the biggest industry before oil. You know, that was the type of oil that was used to, you know, for all your lanterns and all your petroleum products was all oil rendered from whale fat.
Because that's really what the Moby Dick shit is really about.
Yeah. Well, Moby Dick, fucking, you know, call me Ishmael, right? Fucking Captain Ahab and them, they just, you know, he was at war with the fucking whale, right? That fucking knocked his boat over. But yeah, that was that you know, he was a captain of a boat in the whaling industry. Yes.
Right. And then so my other question, like with this industry, so how do you get ownership of you find this or this what do you call them thing? What was the term you use for when you find the pockets under there? A shell?
A shale formation, yeah.
Yeah. So when you find that, how do people claim ownership, or anybody has a right as long as they can get down to that shit?
So, you know, like I was talking to you before about and I think this was a private conversation between you and me. But how under the Biden administration, how they made it non-profitable by virtue of regulations and fucking shit like that, and all the rules they came up with, they made it unprofitable to drill on private land. So land under private ownership, what happens? You'll have a landman come out and they'll offer you a contract with the resource company to lease your mineral rights from you, and they'll lease it at a certain amount per acre. And so what you're doing is, hey Robert, hey fucking, well, welcome to the show, partner. So what they'll do is they'll lease the mineral rights at so many $100 whatever per acre, and so then they'll run a geological survey. A lot of times it's a geothermal survey or a geoelectrical survey where they run cables on top of the ground, where they look down into the ground and see, okay, if there's an oil play, where is it? And then they'll also be able to see, gas pockets, and they'll be able to determine from the weight of the. And I don't know how all of this works, but what they shoot into the ground electrically, or with whatever frequency or whatever they're using, they'll be able to tell what exact gases are there. I mean, is it H2S? Is it SO2, or whatever? And how deep that play is and how much there is there. They've got a pretty good idea of it. You still got to do exploratory drilling because that might not be 100% correct. But if they decide they want to drill somewhere, then they create another contract. Okay, so you've already agreed to let us obtain your minerals. So this is what we want to do. We want to come in. We want to drill on your property. We'll give you 15% of all the of everything produced, 15% of monetary value of everything produced, and then you come back at them and you renegotiate. Okay, well, no, I want all brand new roads on my place. I want everything fenced off because I don't want my cows getting in there where y'all are fucking drilling, and I want brand new fences around my entire place, and build me a new set of pens, and and I want 25%. Okay, and so then they'll come back and they'll say, okay, well, we'll go with the fence around the place, and we'll put new fences on 3 sides of your places. We're going to have to open it up in order to get equipment in there. So we'll put a new entryway right there. But we're not going to build fences around your old place. We're not going to put brand new roads through your entire place, though you will have use of any oil field roads that we place to get our equipment back there. And we'll give you 20%. Okay, well, I agree to that. And you sign the contract. And so then they have a date. So there's different agencies that rule the oil field, or that the oil field has to abide by their rules and regulations. In Texas, it's the Railroad Commission. The Railroad Commission is over all of that. So the Railroad Commission says, okay, well, we're going to give you so many permits to so many acres, and you have to put the wells in by such and such a date. If you don't, then you lose that permit. You've got to reapply, and it's a whole nother process. Throughout this time, the lease on the acreage is still eating up time because they usually lease it in 3-year sections, right? And so they want to get as many wells drilled within this time frame in order to be able to draw. Otherwise, fucking the lease expires if they don't have at least one hole in the ground. And so then, hey, either get your shit off or let's renegotiate this contract. You put say 20 wells on this part of my place over here, and you're wanting to put some up here, but you didn't have a hole in the ground. So now we need to renegotiate my contract. Now, I sold you the mineral rights before. I leased them out to you at $300 an acre, but you've done pretty good on the production. How about $12,000 an acre? Okay, how about that might be a little steep. Maybe we'll do it at $5,000 an acre. Oh, well, I can't go any less than $9,500. All right, $9,500 an acre, and we'll give it to you. And then after that contract signed, they go back and for another 3 years they have access to drill on your place. But with the Biden administration, these motherfuckers are so, look, fucking politician gonna talk out of both sides of his fucking mouth every goddamn time, right? He talked about, environmental fucking, we can't drill. And so he made it unprofitable and allowed the various federal agencies to create these rules and regulations that made it unprofitable to drill on private land. But these motherfuckers, exempted the same fucking rules for public land. All the BLM land in New Mexico. And then sold them the fucking the lease rights, or lease the land, the BLM land, to the oil company at $12 an acre. $12. What did I just say before? Fucking $300 an acre, fucking to start off, and then somewhere around $9,500 an acre. You know, if they found something out there, they knew everything was out there in New Mexico. They've been drilling out there for years, and then lease them to fucking the shit at $12 an acre. So fucking it was turning to the right, and they was blowing and going in motherfucking New Mexico like that shit ain't never fucking slowed down. The reason it's the drilling slowed down to an extent is because all of the drilling, or at least the vast majority of the drilling on private land, was unprofitable, so they weren't doing it. They were doing it where they could get the fucking land lease for $12 an acre and fucking didn't have near the fucking regulations to fucking do what they had to do on public land.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. So so multiple land, the profit, it's based on, some oil fields are found under people's property. So multiple landowners, or if you own this space of land, you can profit off of that shit as well, right?
Yeah. So like my place is smaller, you know. In Texas, the Railroad Commission has decided that to put one pad site, which is typically anywhere from 3 to 5 wells. All right. There has to be at least a 480 acre area, 480 acre square. And so, like, I ain't got 480 acres, you know, and then everybody down this private road right here that I live on, all of us together ain't 480 acres, but the guy on the other side of the private road and the one next to him and the people behind me, that might be 480 acres altogether. So they look and see, okay, where is the highest concentration of oil? Because that's where your lateral is going to end. They might drill on the other side of the guy's property that's across the private road from me, but then end up right under my place, right? And by virtue of that 480 acre, what they call a pool, right? Everybody in that 480 acre square, you know, and everybody's got to sign on to it. Everybody's got to agree to it and say, okay, well, we agree to 25%. And you know, this guy right here where you're drilling, he gets all the fucking all of the surface level benefits, which would be all the new fences and shit like that. But we're all pooled into the 25%, and so each one of us will obtain a percentage of that 25%, depending on what size our place is, right? So the guy that has 10 acres isn't going to make as much money as the guy with the 60 acres down the road. You know what I mean? And so it'll all be comparative.
Oh, so that's the other thing. So because you say you can drill laterally. So say the shell is under a person's property. I don't want to set equipment on top of his property to pay him. I'll go across the street where it's not land owned by this person, purchase this land, and then shoot the lines sideways. Being you're under this property, he still gets a right. That person gets a right that's directly above this, or they can't claim anything because you're not drilling on their property.
Well, no, I mean, and there used to be a lot of that shady shit in the old days where, you know, they was on the last year of a 3-year lease at fucking, you know, $25 an acre across the road, but the highest concentration oil was on somebody else's place on the other side of the road. So they drilled down and they drilled laterally into the oil over there, and nobody was any the wiser. But that shit started fucking coming to light, what was going on, you know, with whistleblowers and stuff like that. And so I'm not saying it stopped completely, but the vast majority of that shit is on the level with these oil companies because nobody wants to end up like Enron anymore.
Right. Oh, what was it? Wait, what? I know Enron was doing like file accounting shit, but what were they doing?
So Enron, what they were is they created all these shell corporations, and what they were doing is they were trading in energy, right? It wasn't even commodities; they were trading in energy, but they had Enron Oil and Gas, you know, which Enron was the fucking the parent company. Then they had Enron Oil and Gas, and then they had all these different shell companies. So what they were doing is, you know, they were starting to get sued because somebody, which we had fucking Enron Enron wells on Granddaddy's fucking place down there north of Floresville, and they were Austin chalk wells. But it was shady from the fucking top to the bottom, and they were going out. They send their pumpers out there, and all of the gauges were analog gauges at the time. And so their pumpers, one of their jobs was to roll back the fucking analog gauge. So it looked like it wasn't producing as much as it was. And thereby Granddaddy's checks, that he was getting wasn't even worth the price of postage. And so, but a lot of that shit got found out, and fucking they busted their ass on that, lawsuits left and right. They just shifted to their fucking shell corporations up underneath them until all of a sudden there was a fucking audit, and the audit trail through the fucking paperwork found out what the fuck they were doing, and they went fucking tits up,
because they had CEOs that killed themselves too, right?
Yeah, yep. Because I don't know about the CEOs, but that what was that picture show called? It had Jim Carrey in it, and they was robbing banks and shit. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't think I've seen that.
Fuck. It was called what was it called, honey? Yeah. Are you sure? Yeah, that's what it was called. Fun with Dick and Jane.
Oh no, I didn't even see that one.
And so he worked for an investment firm or a holdings company, which the whole thing was set up by what Enron did. And all of these people in there, they had, this was a big business. This was a big corporation. It was going places, and everybody that worked there was putting all of their money, their 401k and shit into, corporate stock. And once they got found out, the CEOs, the lead CEOs and the board members, they like fucking pulled people from like lower management or middle management or just fucking nobodies and said, hey, you're going to be the vice president of relations or something. And they stick them on the news, and they didn't know nothing about what was going on. And fucking, so they say, hey, can you please tell us about, or the vice president of fucking media relations or whatever. And they put them on the fucking news. And can you tell us all about why your stock has dropped, 15 points a day for the last 28 days? What's going on? And they're like, I don't know. I don't, know what's going on here. And so the shit just yeah. And so, they were just all set up as fucking patsies, while the CEOs and the board members sold their fucking stock out on the fucking market, which then depleted the value of it on top of it, because they're putting it all back out on the market. And these are people that were getting paid, a portion of their paycheck wasn't stock options. So they sold it all fucking high after all the fucking lawsuits started dribbling in, knowing damn good and well there wasn't no way they could win the fucking shit, because there was audit fucking paper trails that fucking showed, they were involved in business practices that was unethical and fucking stealing from their own fucking employees and shit to keep the shit going, or to artificially inflate the stock price. I mean, there was all kind of shit going on that was crazy over there. And so
I know they had something going on. They had did something with California or some shit.
Yeah.
The rolling blackout things, I think would caught them up in some shit or something they was doing in California.
I believe it. I don't know nothing about that, but I believe 100%. There was so much shady shit with fucking Enron. It's ridiculous. But so when everything came down, fucking, people going into work the next day didn't know nothing about nothing. They didn't watch the news the night before or see fucking the guy that used to sit in the cubicle next to him on the fucking news say, I don't know what's going on with what are you talking about, And they go to work and fucking the doors is fucking locked up, and they're like, what's going on? And then they go to cash in their 401k because they don't have no job, and they actually owe money to the fucking 401k. And so anyways, this whole picture show, Fun with Dick and Jane, it's a guy that worked for the company that's supposed to be like Enron. They're doing the same shit. And so he starts fucking robbing banks, you know, in order to take care of his family, you know, fucking they get the fifth and final notice, you know, to vacate their house that they purchased. And so anyways, him and his wife go to robbing banks and shit. And anyways, at the very end of it, whatever, you can see the picture show if you want to look at it. It's a pretty good show.
And now this oil stuff is all that shit is intriguing as hell to me, because you know you see so much money in that industry and stuff, and then now you have to where the regulations stop them from drilling, and then you have administrations bring it back, cut it off, and it's just like so. And the other question, like the that pipeline that they keep wanting to push, like what are your thoughts on that? And do you look at that thing as a risk to the industry and jobs? How many jobs it removes from people, or is it a thing that you support?
I support it, and the reason I support it is because, look, if you were to see a map of all the pipelines under the United States, it would look like a fucking tie-dye. There's fucking pipelines everywhere, water pipelines, fucking most of it oil pipelines, but some of it water pipelines as well. And it's just it's ridiculous. So putting in another pipeline isn't really that fucking big of a deal. It's not a big deal at all. You know, they go through a lot of there's a lot of shit that they go through. They've got a lot of inspectors out there. You know, why, you know, politicians fucking bring up this shit just to be fucking argumentative and act like they know what the fuck they're talking about, when they ain't never fucking spent a day on the fucking right of way, on the ROW, what they call fucking the area where they fucking place the pipeline. They ain't never spent a day out there. They ain't never fucking gone out there to look at it. Well, you know, they'll have all these leaks in the pipelines and it'll destroy it and all this crazy shit. Fucking, are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? The pipeline doesn't just get paid based upon it installing the pipeline. The company that fucking that places the pipeline in there, yes, they get paid, but they own the fucking pipeline. All right, or they are maybe they'll negotiate a contract where they remain partial owners of the pipeline. And then you've got the resource company that's pumping oil through the pipeline. If you're leaking money out the motherfucker, or leaking oil out of it, you're losing fucking money. And when it comes down to fucking money, they don't want to lose none of that shit. So nobody's going to do a fucking slipshod job fucking so that their fucking money leaks out into the fucking ground where they just spent all that money to pull it out of. That don't make no fucking sense. Oh, it's going to fucking, it'll leak out of the fucking pipeline and ruin the fucking water source. No, it fucking won't. If it goes through a fucking an area like a water reserve or a fucking an aquifer or something, it's enclosed in fucking casing on top of it all. It's enclosed in casing and cement around the whole motherfucking thing through that area. You got underwater welders if it's going through. There's all kind of fucking shit. These motherfuckers are just pandering to their goddamn voter base. You know, fucking if a bunch of hippies and shit fucking, you know, they don't know nothing about it neither. They never spent a day on the ROW. They don't know anything about the fucking oil field. All they know is what the politicians told them. And so if a certain fucking political subdivision has these hippies that are part of its voter base and they want to, they have a certain agenda that they want to fucking go by for whatever fucking reason that's going on in the background, all right, that we don't know nothing about. In order to get it stopped, because it's opposite of what their fucking agenda goal is for that pipeline to go through for whatever reason, then they're going to pander to that fucking hippie base because goddamn, well, these motherfuckers ain't doing nothing but fucking smoking weed and fucking goddamn, sitting in a fucking drum circle and fucking talking in gibberish, fucking, we'll give them a reason to fucking go over here and march around and fucking hold up signs and fucking, whatever, in order to get it fucking blocked. That's the fucking shit that goes on. It all comes down to money. And so, and I'm not saying even the entire political subdivision. It may just be 3 or 4 politicians that want to fucking put up a casino right there. But you can't put the casino up because the fucking pipeline will be going through there. You know, just whatever the fucking issue is. Politicians are just so crooked. I mean, I'd have a whole lot more respect for a motherfucker doing shady shit if they just come out and said, I'm doing this because it's going to cost me fucking money for plans I've got for the next 3 to 5 years with this construction company in my pocket. Yeah, I'd have a whole lot more respect for them. At least fucking then we'd know why, as opposed to fucking some dumb shit that they say, you know, and not everybody is aware of it, but this motherfucker Tex is. That what they're talking is fucking bullshit, but they're fucking rabble rousing a certain group of people that fucking are ignorant of that shit too. But those motherfuckers are going to go out there and fucking picket and march around and hold up signs and chant fucking some stupid shit, fucking no pipelines here, no pipeline or whatever. And they're doing it based on an emotional fucking reaction to something that they believe that they know nothing about because the politicians told them to fucking believe that. And they're just doing the dirty work for the politicians that have an alternate agenda for the next 3 to 5 years that does not fucking coincide with a pipeline coming through that area. That's what I'm saying.
Because what's that key? The Keystone, is it running? It's running north and south, right?
I don't know. I know where it's at up in the northeast area, but I don't know if it's running. I think it does. It runs east for a little while and then kind of comes south. I'm not exactly sure. And so this was back before they were talking about the oil sands, right? Oh, they're going to be pumping sand through that. It's just going to, no, they're fucking not. That the oil sands pipeline, the fucking oil sands is a geographical formation, just like the Eagleford Shale or just like the Pearsall or the fucking Wolfcamp or fucking the Bakken or the fucking Marcellus or whatever. All it is a formation. They call it the oil sands. They're not pumping sand through a motherfucking pipeline. This is somebody told me this shit that I thought was reasonably intelligent, and he said that shit. I was like, fucking, what politician told you that? Well, I heard on the, you fucking look, moron. Fucking, that's not what it is. And so just any kind of verbiage that somebody could grab onto and then obfuscate it and turn it into something it's not and then put it out there and then say it enough times, somebody's going to fucking believe it.
Yeah, because I'm like always wondering like what's been the long fight. And like you were saying, I do hear a lot of the environmental things people bring up, but also looking at how much of jobs it cuts and does it just make the richer more wealthier? Like how many trucking jobs are lost, things like that. But I hear it's to be able to bring, so you bring in oil off the ships to pump them, and does it branch off and deliver to other states, or is this way of accessing their gasoline and things like that? Is it bringing
these pipelines run everywhere. Some of them run directly from where the play is, the play I'm talking about. So where the formation is, where it's collected from the formation. Sometimes it's trucked out of there with trucks, and sometimes it's put directly into a pipeline. And there's these big compressor stations, right? And fucking these compressor stations have these huge H pumps, like a fucking acre. And this whole thing is a fucking H pump. And all this shit does is run all day to push oil through this fucking pipeline. And then at these compressor stations, at these stations, sometimes there's companies that just own these stations that these pipelines that run to. And then so this much of Shell's oil is coming in from Shell, and this much is coming in from EOG, and this much from Marathon, and there's a percentage here, and here that comes to 100%. So then it all comes through this compressor station. And so they operate the valves right there. They have people that sit there and operate electronically now, so this much percentage goes through this pipeline off to this facility or this refinery. and this much is going to be unloaded and sent off through this pipeline. You know, like a switch station, like a railroad switch station.
Right. No, this shit sound pretty neat, man. What my other question? And what was the other question? Oh yeah. Because I remember you were talking about the where y'all end up pumping, and then when pricing. So that was the other thing with pricing, and that determines whether or not they want if the pricing is worth them going down there, even with there's like shells or whatever, those pockets on the ground to where they can be full with fuel. That doesn't mean necessarily you're going to pump it, because the pricing may not be worth it. You just go back to it at a later date, right?
Right. You go back to a later date when the technology has caught up to makes it more efficient. You know, there may be poison gas down there, H2S, that you've got to either vent off or flare off, you know, and or you've got to capture it or something. And so when the technology comes up to where it's efficient to drill there, economically efficient to drill there, you know, then they'll come in and they'll drill utilizing that technology. In order to keep people alive, fucking, it's not just embarrassing, but it creates a bad quarterly statement for their investors if there's a fucking fatality on location or a fatality somewhere where they've got a pad, you know, and then it's embarrassing. Fucking, you got some fucking talking head from the company that's got a, you know, head of DNC come out on the news and explain as to fucking how this guy died and what they did to fuck it up. And so they go way out of their way not to have any deaths, not to have any injuries. It's not like the old days when I broke out. When I broke out, that shit got swept under the fucking rug, you know? And you look at the safety men. The safety men back in the old days, this was the funniest shit ever. Fucking, the safety man, he always walked with a really bad limp, or he was missing a hand or something. And fucking, it was because fucking, you know, they had fucked something up. But to keep from getting sued, they say, okay, hey, this is what we're going to do. We're going to make sure all your fucking medical bills are paid. We're going to give you a pay increase, and we're going to give you a promotion to fucking safety. Now go out there and make sure nobody else does the same stupid shit you did.
And that's what's the hazard. Like, that's the other thing when I watch the shows of the risk of because it's like so much like going on with trying to attach those pipes. I see them pulling the chains and this and that. Like what are the because you know some jobs have the accident rates. How often when you're active on the drill, how often are people getting hurt? Like, if what are the biggest safety hazards while you're on one of the machines y'all digging these holes with?
All right, man, fucking, there's safety hazards fucking everywhere, but those have been mitigated through technological advances, or what they call mechanical means. And then you've got an administrative process as well, which is where they have a safety guy go out and they lead what they call a job safety analysis or a job risk analysis. They go out there and they have a meeting that lasts about 30 minutes or even an hour, where somebody will go out there and, you know, ask everybody, okay, what are the hazards going, and anything they miss, they bring it up so everybody understands what's going on. And they've developed a process, you know, for doing each various task, because tasks switch pretty quickly when you're up there and you're trying to make footage. Risk management, exactly, Picasso. They'll have a big meeting, you know, and everybody will sign their name. Yeah, they were involved in the meeting and they understand everything, you know. And now what they've done is they've started a stop program, right? So everybody has not only the authority but out there on these locations, but the obligation to stop work if they see some kind of risky behavior going on or something that's not right. You know, I helped kill a guy one time, and it was because I backed off. And
you mean he died?
What happened?
He had died.
Yeah, I'll tell you what happened. I already talked about it to the fucking Bloomberg report. So I'll give you the whole lowdown. This kid was in the oil field. It was his first oil field job. He had a young wife. He had 2 little kids at the house. He was from Michigan, drilling up there in Pennsylvania. And I was called. They said, hey, we got this new kid come in. we got enough guys on this crew, but would you mind coming in a week early, work the floor with him just so he understands? I was already drilling at the time, working derricks or something, whatever. But would you help him out so that he learns the process? Okay. So I go out there. I'm out there 2 days. I'm helping him out. I'm kind of showing him stuff and showing him the correct process to go through, whatever. Helping to train him. And we drill surface, and we're starting to run surface casing. Well, as we're running casing down in the hole, it'll float if you don't have heavy enough mud in there to make the well static so that you can drop this casing in there. And so you've got to keep filling the hole up, right? And so anyways, we're floating the casing, so we've got to fill the casing up with drilling fluid. And so we get the casing swedge, all right, that's left there by BJ Services. They're kind of like Halliburton stuff. They do it's a well service company. So they left the casing swedge there, and they had just fucking left. We put the casing swedge up there, and it wasn't the correct threads, right, to be able to screw it in. I said, somebody call them back. That driller said, no, fuck that. Just run them fucking hoses in there, hold them down. I said, we don't do that shit no more. Fucking, we don't do that shit no more. Call them back. No, fuck that. We got to do this quick and all this shit. So me and him squared off in the goddamn rig floor. I'm going to box his motherfucking ass because we don't do that shit anymore.
Right.
Well, here comes the fucking company man. The company man, he's all fucking pilled up, half fucking drunk. Here comes the tool pusher. Anyways, fucking, they backed me off. Oh, it's okay, fucking, we'll just do that. And the driller's like, well, I'm just going to kick in them pumps at 5 strokes a minute. That's just garden hose pressure, and all that. And I backed off of it. And I shouldn't have fucking done it because being that I backed off of it, I'm going to take responsibility. I helped kill that fucking kid. So this is what happened. We take the fill-up line, we run it down in there. Me and the assistant driller is holding it down and fucking, and he kicks on them fucking pumps to fucking to pump that drilling fluid down there, and we heard them kick on, and them motherfuckers came on, boom, 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 and I looked up at that AD, and he looked at me, and we was like, oh fuck, boom. When that pressure hit that fucking open, it come around like a fucking bullwhip, all right? It threw me about 30 foot up into a stand of drill collars. If the drill collars hadn't been there, I'd have been off over the rig floor and dead on the fucking ground. But I hit them fucking drill collars and I came down. And once I fucking gathered my chickens and I started looking around, I see that kid. I saw him walking up to help us hold that when the fucking pumps kicked in, right? And anyways, that fill-up line is an open-ended line that's got a wing union on it, which is like a big nut to thread up to the casing swedge. Anyhow, so I seen him walking up to us, fucking when that son of a bitch bucked, and fucking I went up. I came down, I gathered my chickens, I looked over at him. He's kind of curled up on the drilling rig floor. I said, oh fuck. I said, shit, we knocked this kid out. So I went over there and I rolled him over. He didn't have a fucking face anymore. That union end had hit him in the face, and there was just a fucking hole right here. He had a little bit of his mouth and one eye. That was it. Everything else was fucking gone.
And what's the? I wish you had pictures of these pieces so we can see them. Damn.
Anyway, it came through there at give or take between 5,200 and 6,500 psi when it hit the fucking end of that open. That's how much pounds per square inch was being fucking pushed through a 2-inch line. And so, anyways, I rolled him over. He didn't have a fucking face left. He's fucking trying to choke up blood and shit like that. So I start giving him mouth to mouth to fucking push that blood out of him so he could choke that shit up. And I'm holding his head, and his hard hat falls off, and he's got a gray hoodie on, right? And it feels like something wet is coming through the back of his hoodie. So anyways, I kind of roll him over because now he's choking that shit out, right? I kind of roll him over so he could choke that shit out, and I pull his hoodie down, and fucking it hit him in the face and drove him head first onto the rig floor. His brain was coming out the back of his head into my hand. So I'm trying to hold his ass together, and motherfuckers is pouring out of the doghouse like, oh fuck. I says, hell, you can oh fuck later. Go get some fucking blankets or something. Fucking, we got to treat him for shock. You go fucking call EMS, call 911, get life flight out here, whatever. Fucking here comes that dumbass goddamn fucking tool pusher up to the rig floor. I gotta know how bad it is. I've taken rags and I've stuffed him in the hole where his face used to be to fucking staunch the bleeding. I said, you don't want to see this shit. You need to go over there, get that goddamn fucking ambulance on the way. And I gotta see it in order to. I pulled them fucking rags out of his face. That motherfucker fainted right there on the rig floor. I said, goddamn, somebody go get some blankets for this dumbass next. Said, fucking get this shit fucking going. Well, the ambulance got out there fucking and they took him to life flight because we was way off in the woods, and we got him down there or whatever. Anyways, everybody had a fucking meltdown. All these men that's supposed to be hard asses and all this fucking shit. Fucking the driller, fucking he carrying around a piece of his skull that he picked up off the damn rig floor. Oh, this is all I've got left of him. Motherfucker, put that bone down and fucking get a hold of your fucking self. All this stupid shit, Fucking you killed him. I killed him. We all fucking killed. We all had a part in killing this fucking kid, right? Well, he was hanging on and all this shit, So, he's going to get better. He's okay. Yeah, sure. He's going to get better, right? So, anyways, they make me go home. And so I'm off of work for a week and a half, 2 weeks. I get a call from the superintendent. He says, he's going to make it. They're doing reconstructive surgery on him. I said, man, look, you act like I wasn't right there. That motherfucker's dead or goddamn fried chicken. I said, fucking, you gonna tell me they fucking stitched him up doing reconstructive surgery? I said, that's so his wife and kids could come say goodbye without their daddy looking like a total monster. I said, fucking, he'll be fucking dead as soon as they say goodbye, daddy. That's it. And sure enough, That's what happened. So that's what happened. Anyway, so then I ended up getting a promotion, like in all of that, which I thought was fucking, really fucking right now. And so they sent me to Odessa, Texas to go build another drilling rig, take it out. And so I'm over there and that tool pusher that I was working with over there, he comes out one day while we're building a rig and he says, hey, there's somebody in the offices need to talk to you. Oh, Fat Curtis Slouch. Fucking shout out to him if he ever makes it to this. And I said, somebody wants to talk to me. He said, yeah, I don't know who, but anyways, I said, all right. So I go up there and I used to work in Odessa for the inspection company. So I thought it was one of them old boys, found out where I was and come over to say howdy or something. I go in there. It's the biggest motherfucking Chinaman I ever seen in my fucking life. This other bitch built like a motherfucking linebacker, but he's Chinese. I ain't never seen shit like that before in my life. And anyways, he calls me off in this office, right? And he says, well, I just want to talk to you about what happened over there on 261. I said, well, what do you want to talk about? You got to be you got to be concerned about your financial. I said, hold on. I said, now it sounds like you're threatening my fucking job. You got to be careful who you talk to and what somebody wants to ask you and what information you give out. Don't threaten me. Fucking don't even give me a veiled threat. I said, here's the deal. I said, what are y'all going to do for his family? Because y'all helped kill him too. He said, well, we're going to make sure that his family fucking remains on some workman's comp. I said, you sorry motherfucker, you. I said, you may think that I'm some fucking hillbilly from goddamn South Texas. I said, but I ain't no fucking dumbass. And I know that if you're on workman's comp, you can't sue the fucking company. So let me tell you something. Anybody calls me, I'm going to tell them exactly what fucking happened. That's what. Now, you want to threaten me? You want to fucking run me off or something? Fucking do it now. And fucking he left. It was pretty soon after that when I got an offer to go consulting, so I fucking left. Anyways, during my second consultant job is when the Bloomberg report called me. And they wanted to talk. And I said, let me call you back in 15 minutes. So I called my old tool pusher, who was a superintendent by this time with the drilling company I was working for. And I called him up. He said, hey, what's going on? I said, not too much. I said, hey, look, I just want to tell you, this bunch of people call me and they want, and I said, should I tell them what happened or what? What do you think? Because I trusted this guy, And he says, and his response to me was, well, that depends. How much are they paying? And and I said, well, I don't think they're paying anything. But anyways, fucking by virtue of my morals and what I think is right, I called him back. I said, I'm gonna tell you exactly what the fuck happened. And I did. They said, so it wasn't a fucking an ice plug like they said it was. I said, hell no, it wasn't a fucking ice plug. How could it be an ice plug in fucking oil-based fucking drilling fluid? Ice plug, what water was in it? What part of fucking oil-based drilling fluid has fucking water in it? None. I said, even if we did have water in the lines, it would have been brine water, and fucking brine water doesn't freeze. I said, plus we got that big fucking that big boiler house over there that's keeping everything at 180 degrees at all times in that closed loop system on that drilling rig. What ice plug? Come on. So, anyways, that shit still fucking happens, and it could be a very dangerous job, and people spend a lot of time away from their family, just like the fucking army. Leads to a lot of divorces, a lot of broken homes and stuff like that. But the oil field can provide very well for people and their families,
Because how long are the work days? Because I remember when people were going up to the Dakotas, and I hear, and these are people that just were driving the trucks, and I was hearing about the type of money they were making. How long are those hours? But I heard that the truckers were working long hours. How long are the hours per day, and how long are the work weeks?
So when I first broke out in '96 down here in George West, typically everybody was working what they call an 8-hour tower. All right, and there's 3 towers during the day, and they're 8 hours apiece. So you'd have daylights. You'd have morning tower, which would be nights, and then you have swing shift that was somewhere in between. Now, at the time, 8-hour tower, they work daylights, and then morning tower would work 2 weeks on, 1 week off. All right, swing shift worked all the time. I was on swing shift. Worked all the fucking time, and they didn't get any days off. And this went on for about a month and a half, 2 months, maybe 3 months. And finally, I went to that tool pusher. I said, hey, morning tower, daylights get days off. I'd like to have a day off. And his response was, well, quit your job. I said, I can't quit my job. I need my job. Fuck, I make good money out here. He says, no, you don't understand. If you quit your job, I'll take you off the payroll. If you come back within 3 to 4 days, I'll put you back on the payroll. I said, okay. I said, well, then I'm going to quit my job tomorrow. I'll be back in 3 or 4 days. He said, okay. So that's how we got days off then. But nowadays, just about everything.
So you work 7 days?
No, I worked like 3 months straight, and then I quit my job for 3 or 4 days, and then come back, and they put me back on the payroll, and I'd work another month or two, and then but it was 8 hours.
You say straight, you mean every day of the week?
Yeah.
Damn.
And so, but it's not like that anymore. Generally, your rotation is going to be 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, and you'll work 12 hours a day while you're there.
Damn. And how much are you pulling in? Like, not to give us your figures, but on like a monthly.
So working on drilling rig, working floors, which is a starting position as a floor hand, you're going to be making anywhere from $21 to $27 an hour. And then you'll get your per diem, which is anywhere from $40 to $150 a day. And these are just the drilling companies that I've worked for over the years. So it might be $40 a day, or it could be up to $150 a day, right? And that's all non-taxable per diem. Then if you're drilling with oil-based mud, you get what they call a hazard pay or oil-based pay, right? And so that's anywhere from $30 to $80 a day. And then the resource company that you're working for would typically offer completion bonuses. So if you complete the well from rig move to spud in to fucking completing the fucking well and knocking the pins out of it, moving to the next well under the amount of time that they want you to do, then if you do, we'll just say if you do it in fucking 12 days, then that's the highest amount of bonus that you get, and it goes down a little bit, and say, it's got to be between 12 and 20 days. If you do it 21 days, you don't get no fucking bonus. But anywhere from 20 days to 12 days, you're going to get a percentage of that fucking bonus. And then, like I said, when I was fucking drilling for Range Resources, they really liked veterans being out there. They was a big company that really promoted, prior military and shit. Fucking, it was an extra $1,000 on each paycheck. So, I mean, there's money to be made out there, even at an entry level position, so.
Yeah, no, that sounds, and you like the work and shit.
I didn't mind it. I mean, fucking, it's long hours. Fucking, you get tired, and shit like that, and fucking, but you drink a lot of fucking coffee, and I was working up there in Appalachia, so it was fucking cold. It'd get cold. We'd have fucking snowstorms and crazy shit. But I mean, it's like being in the military, I guess, in a war zone, or fucking, working a horseback with other hands, or just whatever. When you're in that kind of environment, it's a stressful environment, and you're with guys that are like-minded, and shit like that, and you talk a lot of fucking shit and fucking, harass each other and fucking roast each other all the time. But it's all, a bunch of people that really care about each other and look out for each other. And, there's a brotherhood that fucking kind of exists. So even on your days off, you kind of look forward to going back, even though it's going to suck. It's going to suck with people that you appreciate being around.
Right. And then once a site goes, I guess the word be live or whatever, they don't shut that shit is running 24 hours.
Yeah.
And then they bring that shit to the market. How do they sell that shit off? Or once they refine it, they turn into, because you brought up earlier, we were talking about that the other day. We were talking about oil. Remember, I was saying I wish you was on it, but I went live so damn late. Yeah. About because we were talking about petroleum. Was like there's a lot of products that come from that shit. That's why oil is so valuable and shit, right? What are they making out of petroleum?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things that are made out of petroleum, and you've got your petroleum-based products. Of course, you've got gasoline, and it don't make no sense why the fuck diesel is fucking more expensive than fucking gasoline. It makes no. Diesel is a byproduct of creating fucking gasoline. All right. I think the reason it's more expensive is because of the regulations. Now it's got to be at least 5% fucking biodiesel. And fucking, of course, that shit's made out of fucking goddamn shit from the grease traps that come out of goddamn fucking McDonald's. So I mean, anyways, but in order to refine that, it probably takes a fucking a longer process. I've looked into creating my own biodiesel. It don't look like it's overly complicated, but I haven't fucking created the vessel yet in order to do it, but or built a vessel to do it. But diesel should not be more expensive than fucking gasoline. Back in the day, it wasn't. I remember fucking when gasoline was like 87, 89 cents, and diesel was somewhere around 27 cents a gallon. Because it's a byproduct of fucking gasoline, you gotta fucking get rid of it. Anyways, and then there's a lot of plastics that have petroleum products in them, and rubbers and stuff that have petroleum products in them, and then of course you've got your lip gloss and your makeups and fucking just about everything got petroleum products in it, and so it's a market that is definitely involved in the manufacturing of just about everything.
Right, and that's why there's so much money out of that shit. Like,
well, but at the same time, because I don't know how much money is being made off of the various petroleum products, because that's not my forte. My experience is just getting it out of the ground and getting it to the refineries and sold off, right? And so when you look at it, and you look at how much a cup of coffee is at fucking $5, I mean Starbucks, a barrel of fucking coffee is more expensive than a barrel of oil. So a barrel of oil is somewhere around, is give or take about 47 to 48 gallons. All right. And there's 16 cups in every gallon. And if a barrel of oil is being sold at $60 to $75, and a cup of coffee is being sold at motherfucking $5, so that's 16 times 48 at 5. 5 times 16 times 48. Coffee is way more fucking expensive than oil, but oil fucking takes a whole lot more money to fucking produce.
Yeah, no, that industry is wild, man.
I mean,
and so now you're done with it. Are you going back into it once, I guess, prices go up, or retire from it?
I may go into it. I've sent out a few resumes and shit, but I'm not going out of my way to fucking do anything. You know, I was in it for a long time, fucking before I joined the Army, after the Army, and up until fucking 2021, really. And so, you know, my favorite part of the world, and I've been to a lot of places. I've been to fucking Scotland. I've been to Japan, different places, you know. I always thought it was important to travel. When I had the money to do so, I did. But one of my favorite places in the world is West Texas, not Odessa, and not right there where that oil play is, but around Alpine and Marfa, Fort Davis, up in the Davis Mountains and shit. That's probably the most pristine area of Texas that's fucking left. And they've got a bunch of oil plays and fucking gas plays up there too, fucking underneath all that fucking volcanic rock that some of that ground is out of. But you know, a little place over there might be 20,000 acres, you know, fucking it's all very large ranches out in that area. But you drive down the highway and you don't see a motherfucking pump jack. You don't see an oil field derrick sticking up every fucking 100 yards or so. And I like cows and horses. So, you know, I'd like to do that as long as I can. I got some customer horses coming in this next weekend and shit. And so, I was working in New Mexico this last year for, you know, some friends of mine that started a company back right before coronavirus. Somehow or another, they were still able to make it through without going tits up. And then when everything came back, it kind of blew up, and they were kind of unprepared for how fast their company would grow. And so they asked me for assistance because of my expertise, and I said, I'll give you a year, you know. And I went over there. I helped them manage their shit out in the field and stuff for about a year, and then I gave it up and came on back because I like cows and horses. So I may go back and I may do something in the oil field, but I'll tell you, for a long time, fucking the oil field was a fucking black hole for me. Every time I fucking, you know, I never quit a fucking job, but there would be layoffs, there'd be booms and busts or whatever, and I'd fucking lose my job, and fucking I'd be walking out that motherfucker out of the fucking office with a severance check or whatever, saying, man, fuck this shit, I ain't never going back to the fucking oil field. And I get in the fucking pickup truck and my phone's sitting there, and I check my messages, and it's some friend of mine or whatever, somebody I know, calling saying, hey, if you need a job, come over here. I call them up. I say, hey, I could be there in fucking 2 days. Fucking save one for me. And then I just go on and go. Or somebody would call me and say, hey, fucking, hey, you want to go to work? Well, you know, I don't know. Well, you know, if you want to, fucking, I needed you here yesterday. Well, how much are you paying? And they tell me. I'd say, well, fuck, if I hurry really fast, I could be there day before yesterday. And fucking there I'd go again, and I'd be back into shit. But you know, it was like a black hole. It just kept fucking drawing me back. But by virtue of that, you know, whole coronavirus fucking pandemic fucking nonsense that shit fucking went on, I got laid off at 19, but I would still go back. There was like special projects where they needed somebody to fill in. They'd call me up, and I'd go back and I'd do a little work for them, maybe a few months or whatever, and then I'd be laid back off again. But man, I really like it around the house. I've been fucking goddamn traveling the country doing that shit for a long fucking time, and let me just stay around the house.
And then because a lot of people they hear you because you always speak about the horses. Like, what kind of work you doing with the horses and with cows? You got bulls too? Because there's a channel in here I watch with this guy with a bull and shit. And then how is it working with the animals, with the livestock and shit?
So, hell, I used to be in the fucking bucket bull business. I had a business partner or whatever, and we had bulls go over there to the finals in 2012. He's had a lot of bulls go before and since, but I just got in with him as business partner for about 3 or 4 years. And, we had some bulls that were both mine and his go to the finals in 2012. I didn't know you were about it at the time, but that's the time I got kicked off of Colt Ford's fucking tour. But there's always some fucking crazy shit that happens in Las Vegas, but not in 2015 when I went over there and I stayed with you for a couple of nights. There wasn't no crazy shit then, but there could have been if I'd been left to my own devices, I'm sure. I'm not really in the bull industry. When all this shit down here started getting split up and everybody started losing their leases, I sold out of my cows. My sweetheart brought home a milk cow the other day. So I got one cow out here, but really it's just the horse business. I start colts and I ride horses for people, and we breed and sell. We got this little business going on. We do some other stuff with them, body work and electromagnetic therapy and stuff for these animals. And anyway, we do all right. We do some lessons and shit. Well, my sweetheart does lessons. I did lessons, but people don't like to take lessons from me, Reggie. I don't know. I don't know why. I think I'm really affable, but apparently they don't appreciate my commentary as much as they do from my sweetheart. She ends up giving the lessons about a month into it.
You out there yelling at them and shit?
Well, no, but I have my little witty statements. I'll tell you, for instance. So there was these. So I have the monopoly on old lesbian couple friends in Wilson County. I don't know. My neighbors, these other people, all this shit. Fuck, I know all these old fucking lesbian couples. Anyways, this lesbian couple, fucking, they bought a couple of horses from me, whatever, but they wanted to take lessons because they haven't rode in a long time. Anyhow, it wasn't funny to me when I said it, but it's funny now. I was giving them lessons, and one of them asked me, well, if there was one thing I could do to be better with my riding, what would it be? I said, well, fucking get rid of them fucking britches made for the hearing impaired. And she says, what? I said, they're so fucking tight I could read your lips. That's why I fucking goddamn get rid of them fucking snug britches. And fucking, anyways, she didn't appreciate it. So years went by and I never heard fucking shit from them. And then somehow or another they got in contact with my sweetheart, but didn't know that she was with me, and so anyways, they had made a deal where we was going to sell this filly that we had out here, a young horse that was born out here or whatever. And she gave them the address. They're like, oh, that's Drake's address. Does he still live there? Anyhow, so I got to see him again for a little bit.
How much do them horses sell for? How much can you buy one of them for?
Well, I mean, it really depends. I mean, you've got breeding, registration papers, pedigree and stuff, and so, you have one with a pedigree of former champions. Of course, that's going to raise the price on them. What you've done with them, how well they ride, and how much you've schooled on them or whatever, and if they've won any money or anything, or they sired any winners for your stud horses and shit. So, I mean, if every couple years, you sell one for 50 to 60,000, that's pretty good. But other than that,
how much? 50,000?
60,000. And I mean, and that's for one that's really performing and shit like that, from us. Where, other people who have a bigger customer base, or they're more well known and shit like that, fucking they may sell that same horse for $100,000, or whatever. But I try to keep my shit reasonable, really. I mean, for horses really performing, got money and earnings up underneath it, shit, fucking yeah, I'll go 50, 60, maybe even $80,000 if I really like it. But you know, typically, we'll sell our horses for anywhere from between $1,200 and $7,500, sometimes maybe up to 10 grand. That's typically what we're gonna get for a horse if we're gonna sell one.
Right, but when they have that pedigree, you can jump the price. Because how old are they when you sell them? They still young, or you train them first?
Well, we sell everything from a yearling or so, a coming yearling from a foal all the way up to an older horse or whatever. And some people will just they'll drop off horses with us because they can't afford to feed them and they don't want to go through the whole fucking shit. There's a problem with the horse and stuff too, and so I'll figure out what that problem is, try to get it back in everybody's good graces, and then I'll sell it after that if somebody's interested in it, or I'll keep it myself, whatever.
And do the mugs get mad, like get sad and shit when they go from person to person? Do they get attached to you like dogs, or it don't matter to a horse?
Well, as much as I've been impressed with the fucking brilliance of certain horses, just the same amount, or maybe more so, I've been impressed with the fact with their stupidity. And so, I think a horse has the capacity for abstract thought. I had an old lady come out here one day. I'd had her horse for, I don't know, 30 or 45 days. I was doing a 60-day fucking tune up on it to fix some shit for her, which it wasn't a horse problem. It was a people problem. It almost always is. And so anyways, she comes over here. She says, do you think that she's just embittered over the fact she thinks that we abandoned her? I said, lady, your horse don't give a flying fuck about you, at all.
You told her like that?
Yeah. Yeah. And that was another one that I was giving lessons to, that April now gives lessons to, because I told her one day, I said, goddamn, I said, fucking just stop what the fuck you're doing. I said, are you getting anything from this? Oh, yeah, I am. I said, are you sure? Because you're not showing me you're getting anything from this. I don't want you to waste my time, and I don't want you to waste your money. I said, fuck, right now, I feel like I'm stealing from you every time I go to an ATM. Fuck you need to figure out if you want to fucking do this or not. And so April started giving her lessons.
That's some comical shit. Because I always be wondering about horses. Like, man, do they care? Or are they just animals? Once they get used to humans, that's all that matters to them. Whether they can trust you.
No, I mean, with enough time spent, fucking, you could definitely develop a bond with one. I mean, there's there's something about that animal to me that's I don't know, for lack of a better word, this magical, I guess. But I've always felt just more calm and centered around them. But it could be something as scientific as frequency and electromagnetic waves. So everything produces an electromagnetic fucking corona, right? And a horse's heart is so big, as it beats, it's putting out an electrical impulse that extends outside of its body. And fuck, I don't know, maybe I'm just on that frequency with them animals that it just makes me feel I don't know, more grounded and more calm and everything, just to be around them. There's certain horses, like I've got a mare that is hands down the best horse I ever had. You know, she crippled herself a few years ago, but I can't bear to get rid of her just because she was the best horse I ever had. And so, you know, I just spent so much time around her, and she, you know, her, I guess, the way she was really standoffish. She didn't care to be around other horses. She didn't really care to be around people, but she liked being with me. And so I liked her back, you know? And so anyways, you know, she's just one of them, a little different, you know? But you know, for the most part, I've seen horses come and horses go. And, some of them have impressed me with their brilliance, and some of them have impressed me 100 times over for their stupidity, you know?
Right, because they live for what? They live for a good amount of years. What, 50 years?
Well, maybe. You know, it just depends on the horse, how much care you've taken of the animal. You know, and that's the issue. Fucking most people love their horse into an early grave, or into a fucking vet bill, because when, you know, you probably heard the saying, "Healthy as a horse." If you let that motherfucker go heal itself or take care of itself, it will fucking be better than if you were trying to take care of it. You know, you just got to fucking stop. You've got to find the emotional fucking block to where, you know, oh, I've got to love this horse and fucking fix him, and I've got to doctor that shit. No, you don't. Let that motherfucker do his own fucking thing. You know, I mean, there are things that you got to be involved in, but for the most part, I'm not saying the less you care for an animal, because you've got to feed it, you've got to provide fucking good nutrition and all that shit, because the motherfucker ain't got opposable thumbs, he can't fucking feed himself. So you know, as long as you're providing quality food, fresh water, and a reasonable amount of fucking socialization with other animals of the same type, the son bitch will last a long time. And when I was a kid, I competed in roping off of a horse that was 40 years old, you know, but the majority of horses don't make it to 40, you know. So it just kind of depends on the horse and you know, who had it while it was going through its years.
Shit, what do you do when one of the mugs die, though?
Well, so there's another story about my son. So my son got given a pony. And this pony was older, and you know, you could ride her and shit, but she didn't have much of a hand.
A pony doesn't mean a baby. Like a city motherfucker like me would think when you say pony, you talking about like a little horse, like a baby.
But no, not a young horse, but it is a small horse, right? And so, and he was 8 or 9, maybe 10 years old. I don't know when they gave him this horse and this pony, and you could ride it, but he didn't have much of a handle. So I said, okay, you know, it's something easy enough for him to ride, and you know, ain't bronky, ain't going to hurt him, but he's still going to have to do something in order to put some training on the horse. He needs to put some hours in on this animal, whatever. So I started teaching him how to train a horse, you know, keeping his hands light, what to do and everything. And so he was coming along, and this horse was coming along, starting to get a pretty good handle on it. Anyways, I started noticing something about the animal that it started, you know, when it ran, it was doing all this shit, and it kind of developed kind of a fatty patch on the chest, which is indicative of potential congestive heart failure. And the horse was older, the pony was older. She was around 20 years, or maybe around that age, and so, you know, she might hang around for another 5 or 10 years, or she might fucking die tomorrow. That's the way I looked at it. So I told my son, I said, hey, I said, let's look at selling your horse and then buying you something a little bit younger. You can start that colt. You know, you could buy it for less money than what you sold this one for. Put some in your pocket, and then you could get another one for you know, half of what you sold this one for. You can put some training in on that, and then you can sell it off, and you can still reap the profits or whatever. Or I said, or you can keep the horse. I said, I suggest you sell it, but you're welcome to do whatever you want. It's your decision. He said, I want to keep my horse. I said, okay. I went to work. My neighbor called. The horse was dead. He said, well, that horse is dead. You know, I could drag her off or whatever, you know, bury it for you or whatever. I said, no. I said, if you don't mind, just throw a tarp over that son of a bitch and stake it down. I said, I got something for when I get home. And so, anyways, I was at work another 5 or 6 days. I get home, and on my way from the airport, I pick up my son. And I said, man, I said, you sure got something to do at the house this time? So he said, what? I said, you got to dig a hole. He said, what am I digging a hole for? I said, to bury your horse. He said, oh, she's dead? I said, well, yeah. I said, the reason I suggested you sell the horse is because she had all the signs and symptoms of potential congestive heart failure. I said, you know, maybe she would, maybe she wouldn't, but you want to get rid of your horse while it's still living. In order to profit from it so that you could go on with the new. I said, right now, all you got is a dead horse. So anyways, I had that motherfucker out there for about 10 hours with a shovel fucking digging a hole. And I made him bury that horse. And so anyways, we got her buried or whatever. My son is crying mostly from the blisters on his hands and shit. And he says, Daddy, how many horses have you buried? I said, enough to know that I didn't want to do it again. And he said, so one. I said, that about sums it up. And so anyways, I said, look, I said, here's a lesson in this. I said, somebody who's got vastly more experience with something, you know, made a suggestion to you. I said, you've got to ask the question. I said, you know, why is this guy giving me this suggestion? You know, what's the deal? I said, you could have asked me the question and I'd have give you the answer. I said, but you didn't ask. You just simply fucking made your decision based upon fucking emotion instead of logic. I said, start thinking about shit and start questioning everything. And so anyways, I thought it was a good lesson. I told other people that story and they said, that's fucking child abuse. Shit. All the motherfucker did was dig a hole, put a hole in it, and cover it back up.
You know, I hate when I hear people come with that weak ass shit. Yeah, child abuse. Like it's something, even to whoop a kid, they deem that like, get the fuck out of here. Like even with my kids have an understanding when I have to, you know, go off or have to pop them and shit. And they don't take it as none of that. They know they done effed up and that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean shit, fucking, and you know, to me there's always been a lot of value in hard work and working with the land. You know, you develop a fucking you know, you're in touch with the fucking land. You know, the land is the source of all wealth. Fucking you know, we've got to be whether you're a religious man or not, you know, in the religious text, every religious text, you know, man was entrusted by God to be a trustee of the land. You know, he was able to, you know, he was a beneficiary. He could utilize the land to do whatever he wanted, but he had to be a good trustee of it for all future generations and future beneficiaries of the land. Improve it, you know, keep it clean, you know, just be a good steward for all that you've been blessed to have. And, you know, there's a lot of people that have lost touch with that. And you know, I think if more people got out in the fucking wilderness, whether they actually had to work the land and make a living from it or not, I think that's that would be so beneficial to people. Because, you know, look, we're men of the land. We're not fucking men of fucking concrete and steel, you know. And so just to get out in the wilderness from time to time, to bring you back even into a state of humility. You know, I don't do it anymore, but at least once a year I would load up a horse and I'd go to some place that was very extreme, whether it was extreme heat or extreme cold, and I'd stay out there for 7 or 10 days. You know, just and I would eat what I killed and fucking nothing more. You know what I mean? And I mean, it made me a more humble person, and more thankful for everything that I had back at the house. As opposed to fucking, you know, what could be, you know. And so anyhow, I think that Now it's just me talking. I think more people should develop that relationship or work on that relationship if they already have it with the land. They're not making any more of it, and it fucking keeps getting covered up with fucking concrete and steel even more every day. And so, anyhow, that's just my thoughts on the shit.
Yes, sir. I was gonna go into that. Damn, I was gonna ask you a question when you were bringing up hunting and shit, because I'm a city cat, so I don't be doing a lot of shit that y'all do down in the South. But when it comes down to like hunting, do you? The other thing, do you go to the store or do you do it that much hunting to where you store your own meat? And then, so what do you do when you kill something and you gutting it out there?
So I try to take a deer, or two every year, and that usually fills the freezer up for the year. Other than that, I may go in with somebody on a cow or something, and then I'll slaughter and quarter the cow and then send it in for processing as well. So I'll have some beef as well. Um, uh, I do some trading with some people, a little work or whatever from time to time for eggs. We've got a little garden over on the side of the house. My sweetheart, she is solely responsible for us having that because I built a garden at one point in time and put a lot of effort into it, and somebody fucking went and ruined it. I said, well, fuck, man, I'm not gonna do all that shit again. But she got one going over on the side of the house, and so I help her out with it a little bit, probably not near as much as I should. So we got peppers and tomatoes and things like that, and so you know we try to keep the freezer full. Right now it's kind of barren, but I need to go out to the ranch down in Pearsall, and I'm gonna try to do that next week and go take a deer or two, get something quartered up and processed so I could put something back in the freezer.
Right. Yeah, no, that just sounds interesting what y'all be doing down there with y'all hunting and shit. But
yeah, it's there's so many people out there nowadays that it's a big thing for them, and they pay all this money to go on these hunts and hunt these fucking big rack deer and shit like that. Fucking all that shit, hunting the fucking bucks and stuff. I let my son kill the bucks, fucking, if that's exciting to him. Fucking, I don't give a shit. I don't hunt for a fucking trophy. Though I do have fucking a bunch of trophy deer on the wall. Some of them are his. So one of them was one of the breeder bucks that was down there on the ranch, and anyways, found him dead. I thought that he'd been fucking shot off the highway, really, but he was still warm, but he wasn't. He just fucking died right there where he happened to be, and he had a big rack of antlers on him and stuff. So I took the antlers off of him. I put him on another deer. I put those on another deer, just so I would have that from him, and anyway, so I do have trophy deer on the wall, but it's not something I've gone out of my way to fucking do because I do subsistence hunting. I hunt for fucking for the meat, not for the fucking trophy and shit like that,
Right. Like how the natives would do. I think that trophy things like some Europeans brought over here and shit.
Yeah, most likely, I'm sure, and I don't knock anybody for doing it.
Because when they do that trophy shit, they don't eat none of the meat. They just kill the animal.
No, not necessarily. No. I didn't guide him this year, but a lot of times I'll guide a guy that I used to work with over at Chevron. He'll come down and hunt the ranch every year, and due to fucking state laws and shit like that, he may not be able to haul the meat with him across the state border. But
they get into that shit. But no, go
But he'll say okay, if you want it, take the meat, or there's some guys that work pretty steady on the ranch down there, just about full time, and a lot of times, that'll be part of their tip for one of the hunters that's trophy hunting. So somebody, nothing is wasted. nothing is fucking just shot, fucking the head cut off, and then fucking they leave it be. There's nothing like that I've ever run into. Not that it doesn't exist. I'm just saying I've never experienced it. Everybody I've ever been around that hunted, even if they were hunting just a trophy, they had enough respect for the animal not to let it go to waste. If they weren't going to take it or whatever, then fucking somebody else would.
Yeah. So, and you're saying like you saying you can't drive across to another state.
Sometimes, and like with the deer thing, so there's a disease called chronic wasting disease that is proliferate in whitetail deer, and it so when you take one to get processed, you got to have the head with you so that they can test the head or test the brain. It's a state agency or whatever that tests the brain to see if it has chronic wasting disease. So that if one is found to have chronic wasting disease in that area, then they can be on the lookout for more that do try to head off a fucking fucking disease pandemic or whatever amongst the wildlife.
What's that disease?
The chronic wasting disease, fucking it shuts off part of the brain to where the muscles quit firing, and so it'll just be a complete. It'll just atrophy the muscles until there's nothing left to where the animal can't get up and it eventually dies.
So you can't eat that meat then?
You could probably eat the meat. It's a parasite that resides within the brain stem.
Oh, okay, so it's not going through the body.
Right. Well, I mean, it makes its way through the body, but then it stops somewhere up neurologically.
And I guess cooking it, when you cook it, I guess it'll kill it, harming you or something.
Yeah. Wild fucking meat tastes different than fucking farm raised meat or factory farm raised meat. Factory farm raised meat, can have like a sweet taste to it or whatever. Something that's wild is going to taste gamey, and it's either a taste with something that you've grown up with your entire life, so you don't know no difference, or it's an acquired taste. Some people like it, some people don't. And you can always make something taste better or taste different with fucking spices and shit you add to it anyways. So, yeah, there's a big difference between wild meat and farm raised meat or factory farm raised meat.
Yeah, no, it's interesting shit, man. But that's all I got, man. I got nothing else. He said bear meat.
Bear meat. I've had bear meat. It's really greasy.
Oh, it's no good? Or is it like, because I hear they say duck is like a Chinese thing or something like that, right?
Yeah, duck.
They say that's kind of
crazy
out here.
The fat on it makes it real oily, and I guess the tallow in bear makes it real kind of greasy. Not that it didn't taste good. I like the way it tastes just fine. But it was just kind of the texture of it was just it was a more greasy meat, more like something that you would get from like bacon or something. But it was a steak, like a bear steak or whatever. But it was greasy like bacon, kind of.
All right, yeah, no, that's some interesting shit, man. Like I said, I'm from the city, so the one time they did present that shit, they had it in the mess hall. They brought that shit because I remember they was talking about what y'all call bull nuts. I forgot what they called them.
Mountain oysters.
Yeah, mountain oysters. They had in the mess hall, and they had the cow tongue. They brought a bunch of different shit. That was the one. I don't know if it was a special day or something. They was introducing all these other crazy like meats, and people talking about trying it, and they like, yeah, those bull nuts and shit like that. Like, oh hell no. Y'all, like I said, we don't have too much of that shit growing up in LA and shit.
So it was always something that we had, you know. You got the spring gather or the spring works, and you got the fall gather, which is when you gather your baby cows or whatever to give them their vaccinations and to mark them and brand them and shit in the spring, and then you know in the fall you gather everything. If there was any late birds or anything, you brand that, you mark their ears and castrate or whatever. Anyway, so you're castrating in the spring and the fall, you know, more so in the spring than the fall, but sometimes in the fall, and then in the fall is when you're going to sell your calves. But you know, after the spring works, you know, they always fried up the testicles, you know, and you eat them. It's, I don't know, it was just like the last day of the spring works. That's what you did. They saved them in the fucking ice box, you know, for the week, and then we'd eat them on the last day.
Yeah, that's probably why they had that shit in the mess hall. Because I remember it was just the day they had a bunch of different like things like that up in there and shit.
Now that's crazy. I never knew that. You know, I lived off post. I didn't really use the mess hall that much, but that would have been entertaining if I seen that.
Yeah, no, I was tripping off of that because all the other cats who knew what it was, I just thought that was big ass meatballs and shit.
Well, whenever you make it down here, I'll fucking cook you up a deer steak backstrap or something.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna have to definitely get down to the Texas again. I definitely got. It's been way too goddamn long. I didn't think I'd be gone from Texas this damn long, but time be flying. That's the other thing. Time be flying like a mug, man.
You ain't lying, man. Fucking time, dude. So fucking in the esoteric the esoteric fucking line of fucking thinking, man. I think that we've been fucking the dimensions have been collapsing on top of each other. You know, I'm no professor of fucking physics or anything, but it's a subject that interests me greatly. Fucking, you know, string theories, etc. You know, fucking, you know, the different dimensions that they state. You know, like there's 11 different dimensions or whatever. I think fucking it's infinite, but whatever. And sometimes, you know, it just seems weird, like the shit that I could get done in a day, I can't anymore. And you know, I'm more experienced, so I'm more capable of doing the shit faster and more efficient than I was before. Fucking, I don't take near as many breaks, but it fucking takes longer to fucking do, it seems like, or time has to be running in a way that is that is accelerated. I don't know what to think of all that, but I think it has something to do with dimensional collapse or dimensional slip, personally.
Yeah, I'm like, for 365, and then you look up 365 days in a year, and you look up, and 20 years is gone, and feels like 5 years. Yeah. Like, damn. Or even looking at people, because I don't see myself aging, but I know the other people I probably aged and changed. But looking at people who I look at who are older, and to see that the way they go through, you know, the process of change and shit, and how it happens gradually and all that crap, but you never see it.
Well, black don't crack though, right?
Yeah, that's a damn fact. But even seeing them getting old, like is a trip. but yeah, no, it's a trip, like over that quick time. Or even like looking at kids, like how you look up and they big as you or bigger and shit. But you never see that shit. You just wake up and these motherfuckers is this damn big and shit.
I know it. My son fucking 6'3", 6'4". I mean, he's skinny as a rail. Fucking, I snap his twig ass, but goddamn fucking. But I mean, he's tall. Fucking, I clown his ass all the time. This motherfucker, he got curly ass fucking hair. That motherfucker damn near got an afro. I clown his ass all the time. I don't know who your real daddy is, but fucking, you know. Hey, but you got that kinky, you got that kinky hair and them big lips, son. Fucking, you ought to put in for a grant. like a NAACP grant or something over there at school.
But you never know with them genetics, man. What his mom got, what you got.
Oh no, his mama had real curly hair.
Oh, they probably got something mixed in their line too.
Yeah, and but I clown his ass all the time. He's like, "Shut the fuck up, man."
But no, that's cool. Y'all had that conversation, that kind of a relationship where y'all can clown and relax as a father. You got to be on them so much and be, you grow into being the stern, strict father, and then grow into where your kids look at you as a best friend and shit.
Yeah, that's well, I've always treated him like he was a man, and he, even from when he was a little kid, he was welcome to make his own decisions, fucking good or bad. Now you can, you could try to escape fucking, making your decisions, but you can't escape the fucking the repercussions of making those decisions, So if you decide not to fucking make a decision, you still made one. Fucking, you're just fucking stagnant. You're not fucking doing anything. So I've always spoke to him like he was a man, because to me, what is a boy? A boy is just a man in training, right? And so I've always treated him that way, and I've always talked shit and clowned him, and my friends are the same way, that I interact with all the time, and we talk shit to each other, fucking, and share witty banter or whatever, make fun of each other and stuff. And I think that's the mark of maturity, is being able to find humor in your own self, Exactly. And so that's kind of how he came up, and that's something. He's always got something smart to say, Like, I'm surprised he hadn't gotten his hit in the mouth any more than what he has, to be honest with you. But anyways, he's pretty cool kid, man. I'm real proud of him.
Yeah, no, that's all that matter, man. The witty shit. My kid said some shit the other day that threw me the fuck off. Like, where the fuck you get talking like this? He gonna tell me something. I was listening to we're listening to music, and song came on, and I was like, man, I like it was Maya, because I used to, when I worked at TSA, I used to try to flirt and holler at Maya, and I was like, yeah, I like this song. I was like, I like Maya. He's like, you ain't gonna hit some shit like that. Like, what the hell? She was like, she wasn't gonna let you hit. I'm like, where the hell he learned even the word like to talk like that, or even to know about it? But I guess as he grow, friends he around, they talk and clown like that, and I guess it's coming to a point. Like, he says a lot of way out witty shit, or shit that I thought he'd be too young to be saying. But as I look back, I guess we start picking up on language and words like that as well.
Yeah, but my nephew, and my sister, my younger sister Ren, she's probably one of the most brilliant people I've ever met. Well, and she's, for being one of the smartest people I've ever met in my life. Fucking, she's done some dumbass shit, but I guess we all have, and right. But she's doctorate of marine biology, and then she's also got a master's in something else. And so, anyways, and so, and she always interacts with them kids all the time. And my nephew, we were, my sister had come to visit, whatever. She brought them kids with her, we're in the car, and my sister is telling them, I don't know what how the conversation started, but they were talking about fungus, right? And my sister tells them, well, the plural of fungus isn't funguses, it's fungi. And my nephew, he's in the back seat, in the fucking car seat now. He little, and he says fungi. He said, I don't like fungi, I like fun girls.
Yeah, the kids pull some crazy shit up out their hat, man.
Yeah. So, anyways, well, fuck it, man. Let's get off here. I'm gonna eat some supper.
Yes, sir.
Entertain these dogs. I guess they're a lot of fucking company.
All right. Oh, I catch the end of this damn game. It looked like the Chiefs about to get put out the dang thing.
Yeah, how are the Cowboys doing this year?
Oh, it's over with. Cowboys trash. They fired their coach.
That's right.
Yeah, they have
right.
The final games of the day. Determine who's going.
What's going on, Hiffy?
Yeah, determine who's going to Super Bowl. You got the Eagles going, and then the Bills and what's this team? Buffalo. Buffalo is tied up with they tied up with what's that damn team? Damn, well, I'm drawing a blank. They tied up with Kansas City.
Oh, all right. I really don't watch it that much, but I try to kind of stay up a little bit on whatever team my partner Keymon is fucking playing on. That way, you know, I can lie to him and say, "Oh yeah, fucking, I seen what you did out there. Fucking, I didn't watch shit, but you know, I still got a rep from my boy. No, fucking, I forgot completely what time of year it was. Yeah, he just texted me the other day. He said, "Hey, I'm coming into town next weekend, or I'll be in town next weekend for the Heritage Ride to kick off the rodeo here in San Antonio." And he said, "Hey, you got a horse I could ride?" "Yeah, I got a horse you can take with you." I said, "You gonna invite me to go ride with you?" This motherfucker says, "Call Carl." There's another dude fucking lives out here. I said, "Motherfucker, call Carl."
Oh yeah, anyway. He ain't no good.
Carl, no. I just I don't know. I've been out to Carl's place and stuff. They some black folks. They originally from like the Houston area, and he retired from the military, and his wife was in the military as well. But I don't think she retired. But she runs a nonprofit business or whatever in San Antonio somewhere. I've been meaning to go over there and talk to her. I've been meaning to for several years. Never have got the chance, or you know, just it slips my mind and I forget about the shit. But I wanted to go see what she had going on over there. I probably ought to call Carl. But they keep a lot of those gated horses, you know, the fucking Tennessee Walkers and shit like that. And that's just that's not the kind of horse flesh I deal in. So, anyways. It just sounds like my buddy Keymon been coming into town and hanging out more with Carl than hanging out with old Tex.
But yeah, that's all I got, man. I'm gonna probably go grab some food and see what happens at the end of this game. I'm just hoping the Chiefs get put out.
All right, last words. Fuck it. Hey, look, I'm gonna put it out one more time right now. Oh shit, fucking! I'm not even in the comment section. I'm just typing for nothing, fucking. All right.
Oh, you got to put your number out.
Yeah. All right. So, for everybody that's on this live or whatever, I just put my phone number in the comment section. If y'all really want to learn some of this shit that I preach and that I'm telling y'all about, y'all want to understand fucking principles and everything behind it, historical context, and why things are the way they are, and go further into this particular, I guess, way of life that I'm involved in, you could say, you know, is process or a way of thinking, a mindset, and y'all want to learn more about it, and you're interested in freeing yourself from financial slavery, freeing yourself from legalized tyranny. There's ways to go about it and ways to do it. Even if you don't fucking subscribe to it and you want to learn more about it to try and fucking prove me wrong, well then fucking cool. If you can prove me wrong, I appreciate that shit, because that means I need to fucking start over and fucking and go back to it. I always like it when somebody asks me questions that I can't answer. If I can't answer it, that means I need to fucking learn it, and all it does is benefit me. So I love to get questions. That's why I like talking to Chris Lawrence. He always throws a question out there, even though we're of the, you know, very like-minded or whatever. He's going to throw a question out there for me all the time that I can't answer. And I said, fuck, give me 3 or 4 days, I'll get back to you. And I will go find an answer. And all it does is benefit me in the long run, because now I know. And I love to teach this shit, fucking, one-on-one or with a group of people, group of like-minded individuals, because when I teach something, it solidifies that in my mind and fucking and makes it to where I don't forget it. I would enjoy helping out anybody else. So there's my phone number. Y'all take it down, write it down, fucking whatever, take a picture of it, whatever you need to do. And you're welcome to call me or contact me anytime. If I don't pick up the phone or if I don't fucking answer your text message right away, I promise you I will. Just sometimes I get hung up in doing shit too. So I'll always get back with you. Just let me know who you are. Let me know where you got the phone number from the live with Box of Conversation with Reggie Owen or the Truth with Text, and fucking I'm gonna hit you back just as soon as I can. Anyways, just know I love all y'all, and I really do this for y'all, man. I really want to see if I could just help one person. I hope they go on with this shit fucking more than fucking what I ever fucking could have, and they figure more shit out. And go on with their own process, and they're able to teach another fucking 2 or 3 people, fucking, because sooner or later, fucking, that knowledge starts to fucking travel around, and there's a lot of things out there that, not necessarily misinformation, but it's not complete, and when you don't have complete information, you start doing things fucking wrong. You start referencing things that you don't know. That you don't know about is just like some of these jackasses over there, these Hollywood jackasses that get up there and fucking talk, and they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They're just fucking spewing words out of their fucking mouths they don't know the meaning of. So don't fall for a fucking incomplete process. If y'all are looking at anything else, I could teach y'all there's a lot more shit that goes on with this than just what I say on these lives or in these podcasts. What I'm throwing out there, I am going to tell you where to find it, where to look, and all that all the time for you to do your own diligence. But if you want to know the intricacies of these things, I will teach you. All you got to do is fucking request the knowledge. I'll give it to you for free. So anyways, that's my phone number out there. I hope somebody took it down. I hope to be getting a fucking call from Picasso or Hiffy or a text message sooner or later. If not, well, fuck it. I guess I'll see him on the next podcast and I'll hype them up for fucking, an hour and a half, and then fucking they'll fall off again and fucking go back to looking at pictures of cats.
Yeah, Picasso will be like, he driving, he can't call.
Yeah, I can't call. I'm driving. I could write you a fucking 2.5 fucking paragraph fucking thing on the damn on the live comment section. But I can't just plug in the fucking the link so that I could jump on.
Right, that was crazy shit.
Well, while I'm hauling a full load behind my fucking 18-wheeler, my Peterbilt. Yeah, I can fucking write paragraph after fucking long ass paragraph while I'm on the Great American Highway hauling freight down the motherfucker, but I can't talk on the phone. Oh, get the fuck out of here. Anyway.
Right. All right, man. I'll see you on the next one.
All right, y'all be good. Be blessed.
Yes, sir. All right, everybody. Peace. All right, peace, bro.
All right. Adios.
All right, man.